concluded a battle with a troll and a couple of seemingly reanimated corpses that were found in a clearing within the lower basin of the forest near the border of the swamp. Upon investigating these bodies, the party was beset upon by these now freshly raised corpses, which attacked them, displaying some unusual properties. The whole area and lending itself to a rather kind of eerie encounter, and were then beset upon by a rather large troll. The party, including their lizard folk ally Hosk, were successful in slaying the troll, and now collecting themselves after the battle. Mindardus goes to turn to address you, Sorwin, and as he's looking at you, he begins to open his mouth and then freezes. And his form, as you're looking at it, his expression doesn't change, but his physical form does. And his form goes from kind of a solid, normal-looking elf that you've come to know. It becomes very gaseous, almost as if everywhere that it is his body has been replaced with a kind of white cloud-like substance. Almost as if he is kind of made of like thick white fog. And you can see all the expressions, and like everything is normal. However, he's not moving, and his form has become this gaseous, ethereal kind of makeup.
Looks like he turned into thin air instead of vanishing into it.
Can I inhale his smoke as a sacrifice and breathe it in my lungs and let it go?
You walk up to him and you kind of like purse your lips and then.
Wait, let's hotbox him.
Let's hotbox. Yeah, let's see.
Wow.
Yeah,
there seems to be no disruption to his form, and it would appear the kind of vacuum pressure or the suction that you're applying is not having any influence on his form.
Do I notice what is happening?
You certainly do.
Like,
I give him a gentle poke with my new dagger.
Your dagger passes through what would normally be armor, and you were able to withdraw it. A thin wisp of this kind of fog material that he's composed of kind of clings to the blade and flutters out. But the form itself does not seem disrupted or harmed in any way.
Where's one of them clerics when you need one?
what's like, do I recognize what is actually going on?
Make an Arcana check.
Times have changed, guys.
Oh shit.
So as you're looking into what has happened to your ally, your mind reels through different lessons that you've gone through, different elements of your schooling that may lend some explanation as to what's happening. And the only thing that seems to even match this description would be when someone moves from the material plane to the ethereal plane, because that is described very often as a kind of gaseous and smoky environment.
So I'm to understand, like, he's like passing away, like his like elven body is like no longer holding him to this world, or?
Well, from what you know, though, when things travel to the ethereal plane, they're no longer visible on the material plane. But this person is clearly visible. You can't really interact with them. So, from what you can discern, some element of their physicality is no longer present where they are. But as far as the being themselves, it would appear that this being still exists. There's just something that's keeping it. It's something that keeping an element of its physical existence from manifesting in the material plane.
So he's Titus in Final Fantasy X.
I actually never fully played through a Final Fantasy X.
Who did we say this was happening to?
This has happened to Mindardus.
Oh.
And Morris, you make an intelligence check.
Uh-oh.
Does he
Good thing
drop
I'm
my
smart.
bow? Does he drop that bow that I stole?
It would appear that it's still on his form. Everything
So
that
it's
was on
wisping
him
away.
is...
Okay.
Just a reminder, I have 1 level of exhaustion. It doesn't matter this time, but just letting you know.
That's good to know. You do recognize this. You saw it happen once before. In fact, you saw it happen to Mindardus once before. And in fact, a number of people around Mason's Rest and along various settlements that you've been passing through to get to where you are now. You recognize this as shortly after your sentencing in the courthouse, that Mindardus's physical form was replaced with this kind of ethereal gaseous form once before. And he did seemingly recover from it. You don't really know what of anything influences it. The only time it was ever brought up was in the presence of the orb holder Amon Ray and the bird person that you encountered when you were speaking with him more privately as a result of your sentencing. She attempted to kind of keep information to do with this phenomenon rather hush-hush, and she wouldn't really let the orb holder speak much of whatever it is that's causing this.
So the only
fog-
thing
the
I
fog
know
is
about
something
it.
different.
So the only thing I know about it is that it happens every once in a while.
It's happened to him before, and he did seemingly recover from it without issue. It's also seemed to, whatever this problem is, it afflicted many random individuals amongst the settlements you've been to. So not just him, but other people on this island.
Can we move him behind a rock and leave him for
Is
later?
he one of
You
the
go to
four
touch
winds?
him, and your hand passes through his form.
Ah,
Is he one of the 4 winds?
Well, let's get out of this clearing before more of these things come.
I agree.
good idea.
So he doesn't eventually just completely like fade into the wind?
You don't know, but from what Morris tells you, it you don't. He doesn't think it'll happen, but he doesn't know.
I don't think it'll happen, but I don't know.
There you go.
All right. Well, let's leave him.
Skedaddle.
Yeah.
Let's skadoodle.
Rip.
Skadoodle
Hang
boodle.
on, I just need to see how long conjure animals last for. It's concentration up to an hour.
Okay.
So you can keep your bear army with you for up to an hour.
I tell my bears to come back to me, and I pet them, gooble, gobble,
Get back
gobble,
to
and
his sleepies.
mobble. Yeah.
Do you remember what you named them?
Gobble, gobble, double, and mobble.
Nope. You named them pot names.
Really? You remember that? I remember
Sativa,
that.
Yes.
something
Oh.
else. And
Sativa,
I'll write it
indica,
down.
cannabinoid, and too much weed, I believe were their names.
Wait,
Initially,
let
they
me
were
write
going to be
this down.
they were going to be Mopey, Dopey, Schmopey, and Popey.
Oh yeah, that's what I thought it was going to be.
Well, no, but then you changed them all. 'cause
Oh,
I
did
think,
I?
I think
Okay.
Drac was like, "Oh, I thought you were going to name the marijuana stuff." And
Okay,
you
so
did.
sativa. What
Indica,
was it? Indica,
cannabinoid,
cannabinoid,
and weed.
weed, and too much weed. All right.
Those were your forebears. Are currently your forebears.
All right.
All right, so-
maintain them.
So the group of you leave.
Yep.
All right. So you begin heading northward.
I'm gonna tell Mindardus if when he recovers, come find us. You know where we are.
He does.
I don't know. Your friendly
Yeah, he
neighbor?
has an idea of where you were
he,
headed.
yeah, he knows where we were going.
Maybe he can hear me.
All right. So the group of you begin to head northward along, no longer guided by Mindardus and Hosk, just guided by Hosk this time.
Uh-oh.
And you continue heading along this kind of westward approach to where you believe the center of the lizard folk kind of community, for lack of a better term, is. It is still, well, it's getting on now. It's about 10 a.m. And given that you've spent one night since what you heard was an approximation for how long it's going to be before the lizard folk are going to be encroaching on the Silver Spear Glades, you have about 2 days before the bulk of their forces descend upon the village.
Who?
Morris, you are going through some of the things you collected, and inside the satchel that you found are, well, like I said, the various bundles of plants. You found that letter, you found a vial with some kind of liquid in it, and you found a cloth bag that was just kind of left along, or kind of slung over one shoulder of one of the bodies of the creatures you slew.
Do you see there's a letter?
There was a letter.
What did the letter say?
It should be in your inventory.
Under note from Zal?
That's it.
Share with the class.
So as the rest of you are walking forward, you begin to notice that the landscape itself is becoming more and more sparse. The density of the trees is really starting to drop off now, and there are increasing stretches of plains that are slowly starting to have a higher and higher water table. And as you begin to go, you go from kind of solid ground to getting slightly muddy to now kind of as this kind of like wet sucking mud begins to slow your progress down. And as you look further forward, you only see that this is going to increase. And from what you can tell, you're now approaching what will be ankle-deep water. And there are large clusters of tall grass, of reeds, all sorts. They kind of hug land masses that sit a little higher out of the water. And Hosk tries to kind of lead the group more along some of those more solid land masses. However, everything is waterlogged, and in less than half an hour, all of your feet are just soaked because the water has seeped through whatever shoes or boots or footwear you had.
I'm crying on the inside about my shoes.
It's so sad.
I'm wearing leather boots made for this.
I go into Al and don't get wet.
Okay,
Right.
so how many beast shapes have you used?
I believe I just used one.
You used one to go owl. You used one to go owl in the
I think we
previous
rested.
fight.
Right. Can I go back to Al again? You can
I
use
think
two,
I think
right?
you have a second use. Yeah, you
Yeah.
should be able to go to owl again.
Yeah, because we rested in the canopy, and then we fought these guys.
Well, yes, but you went owl in the fight that you just had, and you haven't
did
had
I?
any kind of rest before then. Yes, I believe you did.
All right.
Yeah, because you were an owl, and then you shifted out of owl to summon your bear army.
Oh, okay, right.
So you have one more usage of beast shape left, and you're going to use it now to go owl again.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. So as your half-elven companion shifts form back into his winged owl, and you can decide whatever coloration you have.
Green like weed.
All right, green owl. As the party progresses forward, a few of you notice that Hosk, while he is every so often kind of checking through the the landscape and appears to be peering around, he will periodically pick up a fang that hangs from one of the charms that he wears kind of around his neck. Or no, this one is around a reed bracelet that he wears over his wrist, and every so often he'll stop and he'll look, and then he'll put it back down, and he'll continue kind of guiding the group through these increasingly watery marshlands. Now, are you guys just kind of making a beeline there? Are you trying to stay stealthy? What is the approach? Oh, and what is the marching order as well?
I would say
Yes.
stealthy.
Yeah. I'll be behind Husk because I think Husk is leading us,
Hosk
right?
is first, yeah.
Yeah,
be
so I'll be
behind
behind
Big
him.
I'll be behind him.
I'll take the rear.
Ooh,
Giggity.
Yeah.
ooh.
And Sorwin in owl form is taking up the rear. Okay. All right, so if you're taking the stealthy approach, I need everyone to make a stealth check.
Super sneaky.
Everyone who drank from the draft, it has not yet been 24 hours, so you still have advantage on your stealth rolls.
Drink from the draft. Oh,
Remember the guy offered the drink.
What? Really? I don't know where I was.
I got a 4.
Didn't you drink from the draft?
Yeah, but I'm at disadvantage on ability checks.
So it would have been neutral. Oh, so that's a 4. Okay. All right, so 14, 25, 16.
Sorry, guys.
Well, the thing is, it's a
Slot.
group stealth check, so like
I never
generally
know when
people
to
doing
cast
really
passive.
well.
I just never know when to cast passive without a trace. I feel like I should have cast that before, but
You can cast pass without trace whenever the hell you like. You can cast whenever you like.
I mean I'm just saying, like I never know like when to do it.
Well, when we
You
were
do it
traveling
before
sneakily,
our rolls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should I
Can
cast
it
it now?
last like how long does it last? Like an hour?
I think it's an hour.
Yeah, it's an hour. Can I cast it while in owl form? But then I
No,
lose.
to cast spells, you would have to drop owl form, and you have already
Oh,
switched
yeah.
into owl form.
That's crazy. Yeah. Sorry, guys.
I mean, as an owl, you can also be hovering above us, keeping an eye
Yeah.
out for anything.
Yeah.
So
That's I didn't want to stop anybody, but that's what I was gonna do.
Yeah,
next.
I don't even like. Did he have to make a stealth check because he was an owl form?
if he's a stealthy owl,
Well, I suppose he wouldn't have to, no, but that would depend on how you're flying. Like, you
Yeah, I
could
never
be-
said where I was.
You can be
right?
like really just like up in the air, really obvious, or you could be kind of like sticking close to trees, moving from branch to branch, not gaining too much height.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, I wasn't gonna do it yet, but I was gonna swoop up and
Wasn't
do a
this,
little surveillance.
yeah, isn't this a swampland anyway? It's not really
Probably
covered
don't
by
see him.
much.
Huh, yeah. Can I do that?
It's-
Can I, while we do
Certainly,
this?
make a perception
Okay.
check.
Do that.
Is it tree heavy or tree light?
It's tree light, and it's becoming increasingly tree light as you go.
Okay.
From where, like the battlefield you're looking at now, this is basically at the foot of the cliffs that you had to scale down. Well, no, this is about like 200 feet further away from the foot of the cliff, and the trees here they're kind of in clusters, which are becoming increasingly sparse. And as you go further into the swamp, those clusters are becoming smaller and smaller down to individual trees. So it goes from sparse clusters to sparse small clusters to sparse individual trees. And all the while, there are these kind of thin land bridges that are just barely breaking the surface of the water. At other points, the party just has to cross directly through kind of relatively thick muck and like ankle deep to knee deep water. Morris, I need you to roll a d12.
We're gonna get an encounter.
Oh.
By the way, does anybody still have the those mirrors?
I think we gave them to.
One of you has
No.
them.
Charge.
Somebody has
I
a
think-
mirror, I thought.
I think they're in a bush, aren't they?
No, I gave them to the guy who was the head druid,
Druid
of
master.
the place.
Oh, the head druid. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
You
I
gave
don't
them
know.
both to Diranor?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you had them.
I thought, yeah.
I don't want those things near me.
Okay, so Diranor has the mirrors.
I have
Alright,
it
fair.
written in my inventory and then unchecked, so I know I don't have it.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. All right, so as the group is progressing, Morris's kind of heavy footfalls, being the large person that he is, stealth is doesn't come quite as naturally to him. From your aerial vantage point, Sorwin, you can see a kind of movement further up in some of the deeper portions of the water. There is a kind of shifting of relatively large shapes, figures, kind of shadows that don't really break the surface, except only occasionally. You really only can pick it up because you can see things like ripples or bubbles occasionally being emitted, but they are slowly starting to move within the direction of the party.
What?
I swoop back down and I get out of owl form, and I'd like to inform everyone that we should get out of the way, go away from this. How do we?
Let's do
what's
that.
going
let's get
on?
Let's get out of the way of whatever he says is going on.
Yeah, it's in front of
What
us.
is it? You don't think we can kill it?
What's
we
going
could probably
on?
kill it, but avoiding killing things is better because we don't know
Played some tracks today. Yeah,
who's expecting
What
them
is
anywhere.
in front of us?
it's
Bad things.
giant bubbles. Bad giant bubbles. Get out of here. Yeah, I say I bubbles.
All right, so you guys are going to avoid the bubbles?
Yes, if we can.
All right, it's going to take you a little bit of time to skirt kind of around where you spotted them, Sorwin. Also, you have come out of aerial form, so you know where those were. And as you're describing this, Husk, he notices that the group has stopped and kind of comes back. And not really understanding Common, asks in Draconic, which now, Theon, you're the only one that really understands it.
Yep.
He asks why everyone stopped.
Bubbles are approaching. We're hiding to stay out of range.
Husk responds with,
Many creatures inhabit this swamp. Some larger than myself. We have seen some. But if you wish to avoid them, it will take time.
I'm already moving away.
Yeah.
Yes, it
And
will
also-
take time, but it's not going to take too much time to hide. And as they pass, we will continue.
I want to do pass without a trace right now.
all right, cast Pass Without a Trace.
Holy start, I'm just gonna click the button. Does that work?
All right,
Oops, I just did it twice.
that's fine. So you
We
did your
get
one
plus
casting.
20.
Plus 10.
I have a plus 20.
Okay, so mark off your casting of a spell. We will add 10 to everybody's previous stealth roll.
Hooray! 14.
Yeah.
More quieter.
35.
More is quiet.
So, given this information, Husk begins to kind of stick to more secure areas. The group of you kind of dart from tree to tree or cluster to cluster or anywhere that there is kind of visual cover. The group is moving slowly from bit to bit like that. It is beginning to slow down your progress. The sun is starting to climb into the air. It's around noon at this point. And off to the northeast, and Morris, seeing as you're behind Husk, you are one of the first people to notice this. You begin to see that the trees suddenly start to become thicker and thicker. However, they seem to be... There are also kind of hewn stumps, and from what you can tell, the trees in an area off to the northeast, it's going to be a couple of hours at least. Actually, probably more. It's going to take you the better part of a day now that you're kind of taking this less obvious route. You can see that it will take some time, but you will eventually reach this area where it seems to be that some of the local trees are cut down, or things are kind of orchestrated in a way that makes it a little bit harder to see further in. But that is the general sense of where the party is going.
We're gonna take a rest for lunch.
That's a good idea. I like that. Let's do a little
Yes,
rest.
let's-
Yep.
Okay, so you guys are just going to take a rest in the middle of the path you're traveling in?
Are the
Is there a cover
bubbles?
anywhere?
Is there
Yeah,
like a
trees?
cave? Any sort of?
Anyone who wants to look for a place to rest, make a survival check.
have the bubbles already passed?
You have passed where Sorwin indicated the bubbles were, but whether or not there are more, you don't know.
Just keep in mind that Pass Without a Trace only lasts up to 1 hour. So
Yeah,
we're gonna be-
if we rest, I'll cast it again, or depending on how long we rest.
Yeah, how much
Well,
longer do we have on Pass Without a Trace?
Shit.
It's gonna be a short.
Well, a short rest is an hour.
Yeah,
Yeah.
how much longer do we have on Pass Without a Trace?
At this point, you're actually like when you're coming to this decision of trying to make some camp, you're already near the ending of the casting of Pass Without a Trace.
Okay.
Progress has been relatively slow, given that you're trying to be stealthy and trying to avoid. Well, you're trying to avoid whatever it is that Sorwin spotted.
Yeah. Okay.
So Morris, from your days out in the field, you're able to spot a cluster of small trees and kind of like low, dense brush that looks like it would at least offer some kind of cover if things were looking your way.
Over there are cover. Is cover.
What
I
was,
point
what
at the
was
bush.
what was the druid ability that allows me to like make a bunch of brush or something? Or what was that?
Well, Druidcraft
Is
is
it druidcraft? Yeah.
is like small scale local plant growth. You can't like if you wanted to make plants grow, that's a different spell.
What did I do with the canopy and the I made like the hammocks and the canopy?
No,
before
you
we-
left it there.
No, but like wasn't like what ability was that
Well, that was Druidcraft as well. I think we
That
said
was
that you like Druidcrafted some
Yeah.
spider webs and like enough of them over time that it slowly formed something that someone could sleep in.
Yeah.
Yeah, you spent a lot of time doing it, which is the difference.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this isn't like a 5-minute
Oh,
thing.
okay. All right. I get it. I didn't. All right.
I mean, you could like Druidcraft some of the
more
plants
bushes?
that you guys are reaching to try and like make them more lush and kind of like bigger a little bit. But
Yeah. I had to do that.
okay,
That's the thing.
all right, certainly. So the group of you're taking a short rest.
Yep.
Before I attune to my new fancy dagger, I want to throw it at a tree and see if it does anything.
Okay, so you take the dagger and you kind of flip it back and forth in your hand, and it's pretty sturdy, but the balance is spot on. And like, being that you're no newbie when it comes to knives and daggers, you think that
I've
this
never
one,
stabbed anyone before. What are you talking about?
hey, this is your own internal thought process. So you come to think that like that this one is going to be very easy for you to hit what you're going for. It's not going to throw off your balance at all. So this dagger is essentially a +1 to hit. And as you throw it, it embeds itself directly where you thought it was going to hit. And as you reach up to grab it, you pull it out and it comes out almost effortlessly. And as you're flipping it around back and forth, it actually slips from your hand for a moment. And you swear it's going to land on your foot, like it's going to pierce your boot and hit a toe. But it seems to deviate just at the last possible moment and then embed itself in the dirt near your foot. You think to yourself, huh, that was lucky.
Okay, I've attuned to it. I'm attuning.
You are attuning to your lucky dagger.
Okay,
Can
well,
I do the same thing with my ring? Say
All right.
that's what I'm supposed to do with it.
Well, yeah, anytime you get something that you need, that like anything with magical properties, you're probably going to have to anticipate the
Okay.
attunement process.
All right, I want to do that.
Okay, so that means that's what you're doing for this hour. So if anybody is like
Yeah.
watching, or if anybody's like on watch to keep an eye out in the surrounding area, it's not Honos and it's not Morris.
Yeah. I can. Yeah, we can stand guard.
Okay, so Sorwin is standing guard. Theon, what did you say you were going to do?
I am going to read the and see if Arari has messaged me back on the enchanted parchment.
Okay. Let me get to that. So Morris, you should have a new entry in your inventory.
Ooh. In my inventory or
Yeah, well, not like in your player inventory. I mean, like under your name.
oh yeah, it just showed up. Ooh, fancy looking. I like the picture.
What's it look like?
Looks
So
fancy.
draconic. Under tattered. Well, I was going to say Theon, but this is actually a
Yeah.
question for you as a player. So under tattered journals, I think I've updated the entries there. Is anything there new to you?
Journal.
Should be at the bottom.
Ooh, I like this.
Yeah.
Okay, so then that is the new part.
recipe.
Yes, that's the new part that you got from her. But given that it's almost noon, and remembering the description of the incantation that you got from Arari, it's that message on that particular piece of paper is going to fade soon. And when noon passes, it will be your chance to write on the script, and then she will see whatever you've written to her.
Okay,
So
so
if you're gonna-
she, let me clarify. She's still translating the book, and this is what she's writing in.
Yes, she said she would update you with things that she learns, and she would send it to you on this paper. But the message is going to disappear when it's your turn to respond to her.
Okay, so you're going to delete it after then?
Well, no, you would. I'm assuming you would write it down.
Yes.
Okay. Then we'll say that doesn't take very long, so it wouldn't be difficult for you to keep watch as you do that. So, Sorwin, you are keeping eye on what's going on. Make a perception check.
HPG?
Yes.
How do I add the damage for this to a weapon? Is it 2d10 plus 7?
You don't add it to a weapon. This replaces your attack. So you can do your normal attacks, or you can use a charge of the ring.
Yeah, I'm trying to add it as a weapon, though.
Oh,
So I
then,
can
yeah,
just roll it.
just under a brand new weapon entry, just instead of the name of the weapon, put like Ring of the Ram, and then...
This one doing.
Yeah.
But how do I add it? Is it just 2d10 or 2d10 plus 7? Because it says with a plus 7 bonus.
It's a plus 7 bonus, so that's to hit.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And then the damage is the 2d10.
Okay. So it would be strength? I don't know if I have it added right.
Well, you could always like cast it, and then we'll see. So, Sorwin, make your perception check if you are keeping an eye out.
Oh, sorry. Perception. Oh. Jeez, low rolls.
So as you are kind of keeping an eye out, you're looking around and you haven't really been to this part of the forest in quite some time, so you're a little kind of distracted with a lot of the new things. You're also keeping an eye on the surface of the water for a lot of that bubbling or whatever it is that you saw before, which kind of along your meandering path trying to avoid that, you did notice other instances of this bubbling in different regions of the water. So it's not just that you were avoiding that one, you're avoiding kind of any instance of this you find, and knowing what to look for now, you have a bit of a sharper eye. As you are doing this, the lizard folk that you've been traveling with, the one named Husk, he puts a hand on your shoulder and kind of pulls you lower into the brush and points off towards a tree line where you can see there are a few figures moving. And there are what appear to be 3 lizard folk that are mounted on those large lizards that you encountered earlier when you were at the top of the cliff near that stone structure. And the 3 of them each appear to have a large... It's like a spear, but it's larger than that. It's kind of meant more for mounted combat. And they're just appear to be patrolling a kind of border around the central area where there is an elevation in the land and an increased density of trees and foliage.
How far away are they? About?
They're pretty far from you guys. The reason you couldn't really see them before is because they were quite distant. They're more than 250 feet out. So you're able to see them moving, but
And
You're
they're
not
not
able to
moving
make-
towards us.
no, they appear to be kind of making a wide circumference or a wide patrol over the area, and they're generally sticking to areas of relatively shallow water or land. And every so often, you'll see the group stop and peer around, and then they'll
Okay.
shimmy away for a little longer, and they'll stop and peer around. And they appear to be passing by. None of them have actually. Let me roll for perceptions. That's the wrong dice. Where are my d20s? Where am I? Okay, there. No one seems to have noticed the group that you're currently. What the hell's the word I'm looking for? No one's noticed your camp there. Wow.
Cool. Cool. I continue to keep an eye out. I mean, how much time has passed since Hosk came up to me?
It's only been maybe like 10 or so minutes, and the two of you have been watching them, and you see them eventually disappear off in the direction you guys were headed, but they're traveling faster than the group of you are, just because the creatures they're riding appear to be much more well suited for this environment, and they aren't really slowed down by the terrain the same way that the rest of you are on foot.
Okay. I maintain my post. Keep looking.
All right, you're casting a Pass Without a Trace is long
No.
since faded. And you'll have to check for me. Do you regain your uses of Wild Shape on a short rest?
I don't think.
I think you do.
Do you? Okay, hold on.
Is this something he gets now, or does he get it like later?
I know for all my spells I need a full day. Hold on, Wild Shape.
Where is Soren right now? Is he like with all the other group as well?
Where is what?
Soren.
Just
Sorwin
outside.
is like the group of you right now are in essentially a small cluster of trees and bushes.
When you finish
And-
your short or long rest.
What'd you
You
say?
fit a short or long rest. Okay, so
Short or
you
long.
have both of your
Oh, cool.
uses of Wild Shape back.
Righteous. I say righteous quietly.
Oh, also, it says you can't
They're my
do flying creatures until level 8.
Yeah, I saw that before.
Oh,
And
really?
Yeah, I let him do it before, so I don't.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, I'm not going to retcon it now, so
Yeah. Right.
That's kind of silly. That's like one of the best parts about being a druid is you can go up into the air.
see, that's one of the things that I thought.
No,
so I thought it was dumb to restrict him like that.
How is a challenge running a visitor? Oh, you mean I can't be like a flying creature? Oh.
Yeah, you have to get to certain levels before you're allowed certain
Okay.
traits. So, like, I think you can't get a swimming creature, but I always thought that was kind of stupid.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Oh. Wow. Yeah,
So I
sorry.
did away with it.
Cool. Right on.
Best DM.
Yeah, thank you. That's fun.
At one point, I pull Sorwin to the side and I ask him. I say, "Hey, your leader, the main druid, can't remember his name,
Diranor.
Diranor,
Aren't you part of the same
and
town?
and." No, I
You're
was
having
taken
trouble
away
remembering
when
the
I was
druid.
younger.
I always just called him Mr. Druid too, so it's cool.
I ask him quietly, but not out of earshot. So if anybody's listening, it doesn't matter. I ask him if some ingredients are readily available, and I ask him if Old Man's Crown toadstools are readily available to Diranor, and if he keeps it out in the open.
How do I recall this? Is this like history or something?
This would be a nature check,
A
and
nature
make it
check?
with advantage because this is your
Do-
forest.
Do I hear him say that?
Yeah, I
Everyone
said it
heard him
within
say that.
earshot.
Okay.
If anybody wants to overhear me, they can.
You said old man's crowns?
Old Man's Crown toadstools.
Do I roll a
if
D?
it's
can I-
What do I roll? I don't understand.
Roll the nature
Like, how do
check
I-
with
How do I
advantage.
roll it? How do I? I don't know. How do I roll advantage?
You just roll.
Well, you
it.
just roll it, and then you'll take the high because it rolls 2 automatically. You'll just take the
Oh.
higher of the 2.
If I overhear this, can I walk over holding open a bag of things that I picked up,
Yes, you certainly can.
saying, "Is there anything in here?"
All right, so
I don't know what's in the bag.
I don't know what's in it either.
all right, I was supposed to transfer this to you. Okay, so we'll say also over the course of the short rest that you take a look at the vial. The vial is a potion of healing.
Yeah. I figured that out from the note.
So, Sorwin, as you see Morris come over and you see him kind of pull out these clusters of various plants, you see him pull out what are a kind of thin, dried. It looks almost like a kind of tentacle to like an octopus, but it's very, very smooth, and it doesn't appear to be from an animal. It's from a plant, and you recognize it as a tendril of violet fungus. He pulls out a few bundles of these very thin stalks that have small leaves on them with a kind of, it looks like a serrated edge, but the leaves themselves are like a blue-white, and as you touch them, they are a little bit cold to the touch, and you recognize this as frost leaf. In response to Theon's question, you know that Old Man's Crown they're a kind of fungus that grows within this forest, and they actually match the description of the fungus that Lola asked you to find. So they're kind of relatively short and kind of round and fat with a brown ring, and it's white on the top. And you remember that it kind of gets its name because it looks like a bald spot on top of an old man, and the kind of brown around the fringe is kind of the same color as like hair would be.
Am I aware of any similar looking mushroom to this? Like where this could be a trick, like a not the right mushroom?
There are a variety of mushrooms and fungus in the forest. There are lots that are in the swamp. It's actually one of the things that area is known for. So you don't really see a lot of them around here. There aren't a lot that you could mistake it for, but if somebody didn't know what to look for to find the mushroom, it'd be very easy for this to go without notice.
Okay,
So-
I give a thumbs up.
So he has violet fungus and frost leaf in his bag.
Yes.
I also ask him about wandering root and broadfern leaves. And while he's trying to recall this, I pass the note on to everybody so they can read. And it's a recipe that somebody got a note from Sister Mother saying,
Well, this was found in amongst the
yes,
the journals from
it was
the hag you fought.
it was a note placed in between 2 pages, and it was written in common. It's a recipe to make somebody sleep for an hour, or if you give them 3, it'll make them sleep for a week, and if it's any more, they'll get killed. So it's some trippy stuff.
I secretly want a vial for myself.
All right, but you say nothing to anyone?
Yeah, no, I just think that.
Well, from his description, you know that broadfern and Old Man's Crown, they both tend to grow in proliferance in the swamp.
Can I see any right around me?
Make a nature check. No, make a survival check, because that's for looking for stuff. Actually, wait, are you proficient in nature or are you proficient in survival?
Nature is 1, survival.
By the way, are you
I'm
guys,
more in nature.
Okay,
are you
make a
guys
nature
able
check.
to read my tattered journals?
They should be able to.
Okay.
Oh my god. I'm
Uh,
not aware that
you-
we were even in water.
You look around and you look around and you don't manage to spot any of the mushrooms. You see like part of a brown mushroom and you're like, oh, and you kind of reach for it, and as you do, You pluck it and you realize like no, it's one of those mushrooms that kind of looks like Old Man's Crown, but it isn't.
Is it poisonous?
And well, the back of your hand starts to tingle a little bit, and you realize that as in your haste to kind of reach for it, because you're like, oh, there one is. You brush past a kind of a plant with a very strong irritant on its leaves, and the back of your hand starts to itch furiously.
Oh god. I'm only like 2% sure where I am right now, guys.
So while this has been going on, Honos, have you been doing anything, or are you just practicing with your dagger?
I'm trying to avoid touching things.
All right, so Honos is keeping away from any other form of plant matter. He's just kind of like standing in the center of the small, or kind of like seated in the center of this small cluster of overgrowth. What snaps all of you out of this is you hear Hosk's kind of raspy voice.
The way is clear. We should go.
Have I turned?
Well, you are the dagger is non-magical. It's just very, very well balanced. So it has a +1 to hit, but it does not have magical properties.
Just a +1 to hit?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So is everyone leaving? Leaving your cover?
Yep.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
By the way, if you guys want to read the recipe, it's available in the Tattered Journals.
Hey, HPG, can I bug you to take a look at if I added this correctly?
What do you want me to look at?
The, I doubt I did. Because it,
32.
so it says,
What?
yeah, so I don't think I added it right. So it says +7 bonus. Does that mean that I also get strength added to it? Or is it just +7?
No, it's
with
just
nothing else?
+7. So essentially, your D20 roll will have 7 added to it, and that is your attack roll for using the ring.
Okay.
Because you're not striking with a weapon. You're essentially engaging a magical effect and then applying that effect. And it's something that's like essentially it applies to your body, and your body becomes the weapon.
Okay, but does it have a damage stat then? Like, so is it just straight 2d10 plus nothing for the damage?
It's just straight 2d10. Yeah, there's no stat bonus to the damage.
So that looks more correct then.
Yes, that looks more correct.
Okay. Cool.
But you said it doesn't
And
use
it
its
doesn't
strength,
get
it has its own
rage either.
+7, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, it is a +7 to hit.
So
I'm just
you-
using my strength because that's +7.
Yeah, but once you gain strength or proficiency, that'll change,
Mm.
and it shouldn't.
Mhm.
So you want to set the attack stat to none, and then add in bonuses +7 to hit.
Yes.
Oh, okay, I see. That's cool. Yep.
All right, so are you all just tromping out? Are you going stealthy?
Stealthy.
Any spells being cast in prep? What's going on here?
How close are we to the end game?
To the cluster that Morris pointed out. When you discussed your route with Hosk, he said that from the village it would take until like nightfall, so roughly the entire day's worth of travel. But you guys camped out for the night at the foot of the cliff, so it being noon now, it's going to be about another 3, maybe 4 hours. So it'll be afternoon by the time you arrive at that central location.
Let's
Do
let's save Pass Without a Trace until later then.
Do I see anything off in the distance? Like anything approaching? Any more bubbles?
Make a perception check.
I'm writing it as a spell. Fuck it.
Natural 20. Today's my day.
So as you're looking out, you don't see anything approaching. There, at least you're looking out kind of ahead of you, or where the path that you're going to go is. You don't see anything approaching you there. You do see you do notice a bird that is kind of circling over top of not far from where you guys came. And as the group of you begin to kind of leave your cover, actually, everybody make a stealth check.
Super sneaky. Super sneaky.
Good
Uh-oh.
lord.
I transferred my powers to you, game.
Seriously, I should have rolled them out before I started.
So as the group of you begin to leave the kind of foliage, oh wait, Haska's got to make his stealth roll. Also, it is past the time that the draft has affected you. So those who drank from it, the kind of mottled appearance on your skin, where it had those darker patches that looked almost like camouflage, but like part of your skin camouflage, they have faded as a result.
Okay, so I don't have a 22, I have 15.
You have a 15, yes.
Okay.
All right. Thankfully, it was not with disadvantage. And Hask rolled a natural 20. So from your Theon, you do notice that this bird is kind of been circling around the area that the group of you came from, and it seems to take an extra long deviation of its loop in your direction, and then pull back and head off where you guys came from. So further inland, further to the south.
I point out that I don't see anything else in the general vicinity, but I do want to stress the severity of the bird that seems to completely just be watching us.
Which direction did you say it was headed?
South.
It was headed further south.
Is that towards the army? /
that
the
is
village?
That is towards nothing, to your knowledge. It's vaguely in the direction of the village, but the village is kind of, because where you guys have gone, you had to go northwest and then north, and then you're heading northeast now to approach the central area of the lizard folk from the western side. So you guys took like a big crescent shape, and this bird that Theon said he saw was moving off in the direction of the south. It's not towards anything you guys know about. So it's not towards the village. It happens to be where you were previously, kind of not as far back as the site where you fought the troll, but kind of in between the site where you fought the troll and where you are now.
Let's gonna move on.
Onward.
Theon, are you writing any messages to Arari?
I want to thank her for the recipe, and I want to also stress to her to make sure that I do want to ask one thing before I finish this question.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask Mo, what all did Lola ask for you to find?
She asked for me to find stuff.
Or was that Soren?
Lola did ask Sorwin to find something, but there is no way you have to know that request was placed to him.
That was asked?
Oh.
I
Unless
thought,
he says something?
Yeah, I thought he relayed that when I
Yeah, I thought he
when
just
I asked
said
about
something.
the recipes.
I thought he just said something about
Well, I know that Theon was asking him about ingredients.
Oh,
And
So
Sorwin, you
perhaps-
recognize that the thing Lola was asking you about is Old Man's Crown.
oh,
Or is
okay.
it like Old Codger's Crown? I forget what I called it.
Old man's crown.
Okay. I mentioned that. This is very similar to, or exactly what Lola wanted to me to find and possibly bring back if I could.
Okay. I just message her, thank you, and make sure, to let Diranor know that Lola
Hey,
was looking for a couple of these recipes. And if she decides to have some spur of the moment wanting
party?
to cook, to not accept any of the drinks.
Okay.
And I write it down.
So as you write this message into the parchment, the wet ink seems to dry very suddenly, and it's scrawled into the parchment now. You couldn't smudge it if you tried.
Does it disappear?
Not yet.
Huh.
And you tuck the parchment away. So, the group of you proceed. This time, Morris seemingly, it's almost like he's intentionally trying to make a lot of noise with his footsteps. And Honos, when you try and look at him to see, like, is he in fact being the one that's making this noise, you realize that the loud footsteps are coming from both in front of and behind you. Sorwin, you have your uses of animal shapes back. Are you transforming, or are you staying as a human or an elf?
I guess I'll go to Al and swoop up in the air and see if there's anything in our way before we start moving out.
All right. So, as the group progresses in towards this large mass, the water is becoming increasingly high now. You're all walking through above knee level water at this point. Morris, roll the D12.
We're gonna fight shit.
We'll see.
We're not gonna fight shit.
Sorwin, make a perception check.
We're gonna fight shit.
If you say it enough times, eventually you'll be right. All right, so you don't notice, Sorwin, you don't notice anything out of the ordinary. You don't spot any more of these instances of bubbles or anything like that showing up.
Oh, cool. Then I keep flying.
All right, so as the group of you will begin to get closer and closer in towards this large, dense area of trees and earth, as you get closer and closer, you begin to see regions of this area that are actually, like, the earth and the mud are actually reinforced into ramparts, and there's kind of rough-hewn logs that kind of push up against sides of it, sealing off access to certain areas. And Sorwin, from your perspective, you do see very, very far to the west, you do see more patrols, some of which are heading in the direction of your party, but are still quite a ways off right now. And as the group of you are closing in kind of on the western portion, Hosk seems to kind of stop everyone. He raises one arm and everyone kind of holds in their position. And he turns to you, Theon, and says,
We have come close.
Even more
That's
super
it?
sneaky time?
We're getting near. We should.
This way is sparse with enemies, but there are great growths. They inhabit this area. Some are used as a warning for our hunters.
Should we kill them?
Wait, they're great what?
he said the word, well, when it's translated by Theon, he used the word growths. You're not really sure what he means by it.
Growths. Okay.
And as you are all led further in, kind of past some of the dense foliage, you find breaks in the trees in this kind of wooden palisade, and you begin to all slowly crawl your way in. The trees, their density has gone up drastically from where you were coming. It was increasingly sparse, and then this area appears to be very, very dense with, if it's not trees, then it's kind of thick vine or just other kinds of plant growth, and they form near impassable walls in portions. So you have to kind of meander and find your way, kind of poking in through little gaps here and there wherever you can find it. All right, let me make sure that all the things that are supposed to be not visible are not visible. Okay. All right. Can everyone see their characters on the far left?
I need to find them.
Oh, I don't
Yes.
have a husk here. Let me get a husk.
Yes.
I love these maps. These are the
Oh.
ones I like.
So this is like dense forest that we can't see through.
Yes, anywhere you see the kind of gray is forest you cannot see through.
I mean, I see a bunch of black.
Oh.
No.
It's okay there. That's a bit better. All right. So as you were looking forward, you see ahead of you as you kind of get into this area, you see Hosk has become very, very quiet, and he's creeping around very slowly, keeping a very sharp eye out for anything that is around them. There's nothing that strikes you as out of the ordinary. In fact, it's oddly quiet in this area. And only the occasional shuffle of a small animal within an undisclosed location, given that there are so many places that small creatures could hide. And this area is strangely quiet. The kind of packed earth is soft and yielding under your feet. There are layers of kind of dead and decomposing leaves that are to just blanket the entire area. Hosk turns to the group of you and says,
Now, very quiet, very careful.
Uh-oh.
I want to go land on Big Mo's shoulder. Hang
all
out
right.
with Big Mo.
Well, as a note, I think you can only stay in owl form for what, like 3 or something hours?
Oh, I thought it was
It's
just one.
It's 1 hour.
Yeah.
Okay, so you would have lost owl form before you reached here.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then I just take up the rear, and I look at Big Mo's shoulder, and I think how I want to sit on it.
Okay, who's taking point? Who wants to go first?
I'll go
I
first.
think what we had before was good. Big Mo, me.
Yeah. Like that.
Okay. Sorwin, you were taking up the rear?
Yep.
Okay.
Giggity.
All right, so as the group of you go forward and you continue to explore the area, you come across clusters of fungus. Many of them are small and brown. And you begin to realize that these are some of Old Man's crown, some of what you were talking about.
Cool. Look, there's Old Man's crown everywhere. I whisper and not yell like that.
I would like to collect some and put it into a little pouch.
Make a survival check. Sorwin, are you going to help him?
No, my hand is terribly itchy.
Ah, right.
I learned my lesson of touching shit.
Is he sure that was Old Man's crown, though?
I give him a thumbs up.
Okay.
You root through it for a moment, Theon, but you're not able to find any particularly good examples of it. Hopefully, you can come across some
Later.
as you're kind of at this. Let's see. Let's just move everybody up a little bit. Oh, that's revealing areas. It's not moving people. Okay, so we'll say you moved up like that. So as you're here, you can kind of look further in now, and there's very, very little light in this area, but you can begin to see more clusters of these mushrooms further and further along. And the whole region of the forest here seems to be kind of blanketed in them. And so there are more clusters of these mushrooms further along. Along with other groupings of different kinds of fungus that you see are growing in small colonies that just worm their way across the pathways, the breaks in the foliage. Seemingly wherever there is a foothold for something to grow, something is growing. And this area is just completely overgrown. There is a path to your left and a path in front of you.
I ask Hosk what he think, or I have to ask the Strax
Left.
character's name.
What are these brown dots again?
The brown dots are the clusters of fungus.
Okay.
So if you wanted to take more attempts to try and find some of this stuff, then you would essentially just go for those.
Now, with my time in the army, I know, or in the military, I know that the best path to take is left.
Yeah, left is the military policy.
Yes.
I do like left. And
You
is that
always say left.
mycelium again?
You do see that there is a large cluster of mycelium in these two areas from what you can see.
Okay.
So you're going to try and harvest more from these other areas?
When we get up there, yes.
Well, it's your choice. You can go up there.
I am going to wait until we go up there because he said we were going left anyway. So.
All right, so left it is. Okay, so make a nature check wherever it is you're trying, or yeah. Why don't you? Because there's a few clusters around here. Why don't you make 2 nature checks?
I want to try to convince Sorwin that hey, this mycelium here can be used to make potions, and if we take them back to the shopkeeper, he can make them into some healing potions for us. And
So it's awesome, and I'm done touching the shit. So go grab some.
These might heal your itchy.
I'll be right
hands.
back.
Do you think it does?
Make a nature check.
It's a healing potion.
All right, that's a good idea. Nature check.
You know that there are regenerative properties of different kinds of mushrooms and fungi that are in this area. You don't know of any that are effective for treating skin irritations, but the itch in your hand is starting to fade after the hours that you've been, well, just like trudging through water, and essentially like there's been plenty of contact to like try and clear or cleanse off from your hand whatever irritation there was that was getting to it.
All right. So do you want me to go pick these mushrooms? Is that what you're telling me to do? Okay.
I would like you to help me. I've
Okay,
never really
okay.
done
I-
this too much before.
So if
Yeah.
you're helping, then what's going to happen is, Theon, you're going to get to make a check with advantage if
Okay.
Sorwin is helping you.
Okay.
You're gonna teach me how to pick mushrooms, man.
I'm gonna show you the mushroom way.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with Old Man's Crown. And would it be possible to do this with my die? Instead
Yeah,
of-
sure. Make
Okay,
a survival check.
It's also a -1, so I'll just. You want me to do the math or tell you the roll of the die?
Do the math.
Okay, that was a 7 and a 10. And that was on the Old Man's Crown. Did you want me to do the rolls for the other ones, or?
Well, so you made that one. Let's say, what was the total number you got?
10.
10 after all your modifiers and everything?
11 natural, -1, 10.
Okay. So you are able to successfully pick a couple of fully formed Old Man's Crown. So if you were able to kind of do this, we'll say you did this on a few other clusters of mushrooms, and so you're able to gather maybe 6 or so based on those rolls. As you are getting closer to this cluster of mycelium, oh, apparently my mouse does not want to click. As you're getting closer to this cluster of mycelium, Hosk reaches forward and clasps a hand on your shoulder, pulling you back. And a moment later, a large purple arm flings out from a nearby
Nope.
path, like a essentially chunk of foliage or nearby some of this mycelium. And you see a large violet piece of fungus that appears to have suddenly animated at your presence and lashed out with its tendrils. Let's see, it's going to make those with disadvantage.
Do I'm going to assume, because it said in the recipe, 2 tendrils of violet fungus. So I'm going to just make, like, my character himself is just gonna automatically think that that's the 2 tendrils of violet fungus and exclaim, well, I guess I'm gonna get another part of the recipe.
Okay, so these things lash out, and even with disadvantage, manage to roll an 18 and a 16 versus armor class.
Oh, okay, so he did attacks.
Yes, these tendrils lashed out. It's just Hosk
hits.
pulling you back basically made it a reduced chance of succeeding. And I'm pretty sure both of those hit, 18 and 16.
Yeah, unless if I shield, but I don't want to.
Okay, so you take a collective 5 necrotic damage, and wherever the tendrils seem to strike your skin, the skin itself begins to pucker and blister almost immediately, and anywhere that they were made contact, it begins to just bleed. Not heavily, but the area does seem to have... It's as if the flesh itself decayed at an incredible rate.
I look over at Sorwin and go, this didn't happen the last time. Thought you were supposed to teach me. Is it actually attacking?
Yes, those were actual attacks.
Okay. Does it move?
It does not move. The creature is stationary, and it just appears to be lashing these tendrils out at whatever it can reach. And you were the only person to get close enough because you were trying to harvest some nearby mushrooms. And it's still sitting there. These tendrils kind of at rest now, but they are laying against the floor of...
How long were the tendrils?
Yeah, they were able to strike you even though you were out of what you would consider melee distance.
Okay. I get a little pissed off at that, and I firebolt it.
All right, roll your attack.
Just a little pissed off.
Okay, so it being a stationary fungus, certainly pretty easy to hit. And as you raise your arms up and this burst of energy flies forth from them, it slams into this fungus, which then begins to go up in flames, and you blow out a big chunk of the cap that's on top of it. One of the tendrils is blown off of its body, and you quickly see more reach out from behind it, and essentially it realizes it's being antagonized now, and it lashes forward with the tentacles. This time, however, you know the distance of them, and they can't really reach you. And so it's just kind of flailing madly at this point. The rest of you see this large, it's basically like 2 feet tall, this really big purple fungus, and these large tendrils that are nearly 10 feet long are lashing outwards at anything that it can detect. And right now it seems to be squarely focused on Theon.
I'm going to ask Sorwin to just confirm my thoughts and ask him if this is a violet fungus.
If it's, I don't know, man.
Make a
You
nature
know?
check.
Okay. Could be.
Come on, Druid.
It's kind of
Don't you
fungusy to me.
experiment with this
You know,
stuff?
as I recall, it's
It's
I have no
not.
idea. I don't know where I am.
You're thinking about gas stations, man.
I didn't
Well,
wake up-
Sorwin, I mean, you don't know everything that's growing in this forest, but I mean, it certainly looks like a fungus, and it's pretty purple. So, you think it's safe to assume that it's probably a violet fungus?
Yeah. Yeah. that's
Morris,
cool.
make a perception check.
Okay. If I can find it. I think that's it. Oh.
So you're able to see around the corner from your vantage point that the mycelium becomes much, much thicker further along this path. Like it becomes so dense that it would be difficult walking through this area. And you see many, many more clusters of mushrooms around this area.
Hey guys, look at that. I think we should go this way.
I think we
Look
should get
at
away
this.
from the weird things on the walls.
Purple
Yeah.
fungus, man. Just make sure just look for any more of this violet fungus.
We'll get you
'Cause
some
if there's-
shrooms on the way out.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Let's get away from these things.
Can I pass it without getting hurt?
You step back out of its range. Haas kind of pulled you out of its range. Are you going to continue to firebolt it? It can't hit you from the
I'm
distance you're at right
going
now.
to firebolt it again as I walk past it.
All right, well,
I'm gonna move on.
we'll say with a couple more firebolts, the creature, the whatever seems to be holding it up, it's just lost too much structural integrity at this point. There are enough flames on it now that it appears to kind of slump over and die, and some of the tendrils begin to kind of wither and curl up.
Do they seem pickable after I burn them?
They certainly do.
I grab some.
All right, we'll say you managed to snatch 3 violet fungus tendrils. All right, so where is the party going?
Continuing north.
So you're going north into the increased density of fungus?
Does that look good to you guys?
Well,
Wait.
ultimately, Hosk is choosing the general direction, but if he doesn't know the immediate correct decision, then we'll continue going left.
Well, Hosk essentially relates that he hasn't been to this part of the forest in quite some time, and it's changed since he's been here.
Well, we need to keep going north, correct?
Your goal was to reach the lair of the lizard folk, and this is where they live. So the specifics of how you get around is pretty much up to you now.
Oh, so we're essentially inside the general area of lizardiness.
You're inside that kind of raised earth area that seems to have some constructions around it, yes, and this very, very dense kind of tree line that is essentially carving pathways in this place.
So we're just gonna wander through here until we find stuff to kill, essentially.
Well, yes, essentially at this point you're trying to discern what the right way is.
Before we move forward, I want to move a little bit in front of the party and mage hand out into the front and just kind of swipe along the mycelium, kind of as I was holding my hand out, brushing through leaves or something on a bush, and just
Okay.
kind of disturb the mushrooms and stuff.
What is the range on Mage Hand?
30
Is it 30 feet?
Yes.
Okay.
A -3.
Oh, you can see that.
Yeah, I can. It's great though.
Okay, good to know that you could see that. Thank you.
Yep, I figured I'd point that out.
Okay, so as you move your mage hand further forward, there is another violet fungus that seems to spring to life off in this cluster of mycelium that begins to strike out at your mage hand.
I take my hand and pat him on the head.
Does your hand have an AC and HP and all that?
No, it doesn't. It's just a spectral floating hand.
All right, then the tendrils pass harmlessly through it, kind of disturbing its form, but the hand slowly reforms itself.
Can I do some sort of druidcraft to like remove the growth here?
You can't druidcraft away something that's living. You can only kind of encourage things to grow.
Okay. Then I shrug my shoulders.
So Theon, what?
I look at Mo and Honos and I say, I can just kill that from afar if you want me to.
Do it.
I firebolted a couple times.
All right. So we'll say, again, for the sake of brevity, that after a few successive firebolts, this thing too kind of withers and curls and dies. As your mage hand continues to extend forward, though, you hear a loud, piercing shriek, like a scream, something that sounds very much like a creature in pain, but there is no discernible source. The sound came from right in front of you, like it came from this area here, but whatever gave it off, you don't really know. And that particular sound, Hosk comes dashing over and begins to look around at whatever is in front of the group.
I give a quick look over to Hosk and I ask him, are these the growths?
Hosk nods his head and points to an indistinct shape that's a little bit taller than the violet fungus themselves. And it appears to be this very, very large mushroom. It's more than 2 feet tall and has these very large pores on the cap itself. And it would appear that they are venting some kind of gas, and that the release of this gas is associated with that loud screaming sound. And with that, Hosk kind of turns to the group and says,
Not safe here. We should go.
I quickly let them know that that thing's giving off like an alarm. And we should either hide or find a different way to go through quickly.
well, Sorwin, oh no, yeah, you came up and you saw some of this too, so I think everyone would have seen this. So are you going to move further along the same path where this thing is, or are you going to go the other path?
Well, we want to avoid the alarm now.
All right, so the party backtracks, and again, you find yourself at another fork. Theon, were you going to pick up anything from those groups? Or from those mushrooms?
I would like to whenever I can.
Okay, make another survival check. All right, we'll see you find another 5 or 6 old man's crowns and 1 more violet fungus tendril.
5 or 6. Okay.
All right, so as the party continues forward, it would appear that Hosk begins to recognize more of this kind of landscape and more of this area, and he's able to effectively lead you through some pathways, kind of pointing out where other clusters of these violet fungus and these shriekers are. These mushrooms that give off this shrieking sound, which he informs you, Theon, that they are called shriekers to his people.
I ask Sorwin about shriekers and ask him, hey, what makes these things scream? And is there any way to make them stop or prevent their shriek?
You don't shoot them with fire, first of all. I heard about them, and they're loud, man.
By the way, I never shot that thing with fire, so...
Oh, okay. Well, don't shoot them with fire.
Okay. Don't shoot that with fire?
I don't know. I mean, I think not. How do I roll for this, for my knowledge?
What are you trying to discern?
I'm going to try to explain what a shrieker is.
That would be a nature check to see if you understand what a shrieker is.
Oh yeah, I heard of these things.
Okay, so you happen to know that shriekers are a kind of fungus that displays an unusual property. So very much like the violet fungus, they do have some sensory organs that anything that moves, even small creatures, anything at all, and it starts to explain how quiet and still this place is. That anything that moves within a certain distance of this fungus or this mushroom, once it realizes something's there, it emits this sound as a defense mechanism, and it kind of releases these spores into the air. As far as ways to avoid it, the only way to avoid it is to not get close enough to set it off, or to be very, very, very difficult to detect.
Interesting.
What if we kill it? Can we just kill it?
Once
if
it
you-
knows we're there, though, it'll start screaming. So it's like an alarm.
But
Like,
nobody will know where the screaming's coming from if we kill it.
If you kill it, they will stop making the noise. At least this is what you're able... In your experience, Morris, most things that make noise, when you hit it enough times with your axe, it will stop making noise. And you imagine you can
Exactly.
apply this concept to these things as well.
Also, they'll
Yes.
hear progressively closer screams.
What?
Anyone who's out there will hear the screams getting progressively closer as we get closer.
So then they'll know not to fuck with us. Big axe meet bad guy.
As the group of you move further along, let me have... Let's see, Morris, you make a survival check.
Disadvantage.
All right, you and Hosk are both able to stop because you notice along the pathway that the group is now heading down, there are lizard folk tracks that are walking in your direction. So it would appear that the source of them is this way. There is another path off to the side that bears little to no foot traffic.
They're walking towards like all these shriekers.
There are footsteps that seem to move in the direction of these shriekers, yes, but they are relatively old footfalls, so nothing's been by here in a little while. And given that you didn't hear any other shrieking, you imagine that there's probably nothing down this pathway. And so your choice is you can either go along the path where you've seen these things, or you can take another path that has no foot traffic.
Let's go away from the shriekers. I mean, unless we have a way to get by them. What does everyone else think?
Who knows? Do you think you'd be able to sneak by some of those mushrooms?
I would, but I don't know if any of you would be able to follow.
Not the way we're rolling today.
How much do the mushrooms hurt if they hit you?
We haven't figured that out yet.
Well, he
But
Does
doesn't
they-
know.
anyone have
but
an
they
idea of
did-
how much they would hurt?
They did emit a gas.
Probably for
Though-
the best not to have them go off.
So we can
So-
say that if somebody wants to keep their eyes out for these things, I'll have you make perception checks on a regular basis, or however many people are keeping their eyes out for these things.
I think we're all
Which-
keeping our eyes out.
Okay, so we'll have everyone make perception checks, but you need to decide where you're going.
We're going south.
Yeah, I vote south.
South.
South is fine. Is there a sky, or is it like tree cover?
It is very, very thick tree canopy above you. You can see small patches of blue sky. You know that it's past noon at this point. It's actually getting on more towards the afternoon. And you can see the darkening of the sky itself, but from what you can tell, it's kind of hard to determine what time exactly it is. You just know it's sometime after noon. So as the party moves south, you find the path actually seems to kind of wind in on itself, going with a kind of slope downwards a little bit. And as it does, you actually come across a natural formation in the land that is a kind of tunnel. As the group of you kind of make your way through this tunnel, again, there's lots of overgrowth, lots of thick root, but seemingly no animal life as you are moving through this pathway. You pass underneath where you can only assume is roughly the area where the group entered from. And as you come out into a clearing on the outside of the tunnel, actually, let me just do the reveal here.
Is that the right reveal?
Yes. All right, so as the group kind of comes out from this tunnel, which was right here, there are two paths before you again. You can see a little further on, there is more of this mycelium. Go, more of the mycelium.
Maybe I'm incorrect, but I thought we were going south.
Yeah.
You were going south. The path wound in on itself here. I might as well just show you.
So
I see
like,
what you're
going
saying.
this
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, it goes like that.
Okay.
So
Okay.
this room here does not overlook this path.
No,
There's a wall
this is a
right here?
tunnel.
It's densely overgrown. Also, nobody rolled well enough on perception.
Ah,
Essentially, you could have kind of shortcut your way down there if anybody had noticed it, but no one noticed it.
okay.
All right, so before you are two paths. One is kind of leading further to the north. The other passes by more mycelium, and you can hear the sound of rushing water. It's kind of omnipresent, but it is stronger in the direction of the mycelium.
I say north.
Somebody,
Let's avoid going too deep for now. Let's look around the perimeter.
okay, yeah, I agree.
All right, so going further north, everyone keeping their eyes open. Can I have everyone make perception checks, please?
That's a 12.
All right. So, Honos and Sorwin. Actually, let me make one for Hosk here. Nope! Okay. So as the group of you go further north, the sound of the rushing water begins to become louder and louder. And you can see small points of light. Well, it's actually not so much that you see the light, you see shadow being cast from light. And as you move further north, actually, wait, marching order is... Okay, so as you move further north, you begin to see that there are, in fact, there is a faint source of light that is being cast off some light source. As further over to this side, further over to the east. And you're not really sure what it is, but you do see that there is shadows being cast, and it's kind of being cast in to this side of this cluster of trees.
Is it a flickering of light, or is it steady and non-inhibited?
It is an irregular flickering of light. So the other part of this is Sorwin and Honos, you both hear a very faint breathing sound. And you're not really sure what it is, but you also hear like a kind of thudding or a scraping, and the occasional...
Coming from the east?
No, it's kind of hard to determine where the sound is coming from, but it sounds more like it's coming from the west.
Let's keep heading north quietly, sneakily.
Well, as you look further and further north, you see that the patch of forest that you're in now kind of ends.
Let's keep heading east quietly, sneakily.
Sorry, I should have revealed that. It's my bad. All right, so the party continues to head east.
Yep.
All right, so as Hosk is kind of moving up, you see him, as he begins to walk forward, he kind of hugs the edge of the tree line along the north. And he motions to everyone to kind of stay quiet and low. And as you move further along, what you begin to see out in front of you is a small waterfall.
Oh.
And this waterfall is coming off of a roughly 30-foot cliff from what you can see.
That we can climb up?
You're not sure. Everybody made a perception check recently. Actually, Morris, since you're next behind Hosk, yeah, make a
I was
perception
at
check.
12. Okay.
No, make another one, because it's something different.
12.
All right. What you notice on the north at the top of this cliff is a small wooden construction. And it appears to be an elevated platform made of local wood. And part of the light that's being cast is coming off of a torch that is stuck in the side of this construction at the top of this 30-foot cliff. And it's about another less than 10 feet tall. So to the top of this structure is roughly 40 feet from the ground where you're all standing right now.
How's the cliff look? Does it look good for climbing?
It's mostly soft earth and a lot of rock, so you could climb it. Sure, you could definitely climb it. It would just take a little bit of time.
Can I try climbing it?
So you want to climb the cliff?
I have the spider climb ability that I can give to somebody. So do you think we should use it?
Let's see if we can climb it first.
Okay.
Alright. I'll try to climb it. I'll sacrifice myself. I'll be the sacrificial lamb.
All right, make an athletics check to see if you can climb the cliff.
First off, do we have any rope? Do I have rope? Does somebody have rope I can toss down?
Oh,
I
think I have rope.
Give me that rope.
Hang tight. Let me make sure I got rope.
You said it's 30 feet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what, are you
Yes,
gonna throw rope up there?
No, I'm gonna throw rope down if it's something we want to go up to the top.
Rope. Story.
You have rope, I remember you have rope.
Okay, I have rope. I handed my rope. I have an explorer's pack.
I attempt to climb up. Uh-oh.
So Morris, you start climbing up, and you kind of putting your hands on smooth stone, and you get about 15 feet up. And as you put your hand on one particularly large rock, it actually comes loose, and you begin to slip and lose your grip. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw. You're able to kind of let go of that one and jump and latch onto a different set of rocks that are a bit more sturdy. And the large, it's kind of bigger, it's bigger than your head, this small boulder just falls and just into the dirt with a heavy thud. Sorwin, you've got to kind of sidestep out of the way so it doesn't land on you.
Jiminy crickets.
And as you are able to slowly kind of make your way up to the top, make a... What are you... So as you get to the top of this...
I'll look over the top before I climb up to the very top. Make sure there's no danger.
So as you peek your head over the other side, I guess we can reveal this area now. You see the source of the water in this waterfall, and it is kind of slime or swamp-covered body of water. The flow of water is not very fast. nor is it a particularly high waterfall. It's just a change in elevation. But as you are poking your head up here, Morris, you do happen to notice... No, I'm on the wrong thing here. Wait, I'm on the right thing now. So you see a torch embedded within the wall. And you see 5 lizard folk that appear to be standing and having what you barely discern as conversation. They more just seem to be kind of like making hand motions and passing out rations amongst themselves as they all just kind of sit and munch on this. You see one of them say something in a guttural language up to the top of the wooden structure and toss a piece of whatever it is they're eating up into this wooden structure, and you hear a kind of scrabbling and then a chewing sound from up top of the wooden construct, which you can see now is kind of like a watchtower, is what you gathered it is.
Okay.
Let's see if they notice you. Actually, wait. I don't even know what their perception stat is.
Will I have to roll stealth?
Yes, make a stealth roll. So as you are climbing up, you didn't really have stealth in mind as you were making this climb, and so especially with the pulling out of the boulder, you kind of let out a whoop as you pulled your way up, and as you brought your head up, you brought your head right up to ground level. And as one of these creatures begins to turn its head as it's tossing this food up to the watchtower, you, in an attempt to not be seen, you essentially let go of the cliff and just drop. Make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh. Can I change my action?
Well, okay, what are you going to do? The head of this creature is turning to look directly at you.
You said there's only 5 lizard folk, right?
There are 5 that you can see, and one of them tossed a piece of food into the wooden watchtower. One of the lizard folk is wearing the garments that you've come to associate as the shamans of this tribe, and another one is one of these larger, wearing dyed red leathers. You gather you're looking at what amounts to a patrol.
Okay. I will finish climbing up.
You're just going to climb right up?
Yeah.
All right, so Morris, as you finish climbing up, you pull yourself up to your height, and you are standing, staring at 5 lizard folk that they've all just stopped what they're doing and are now looking at you. One of them has like food in its mouth, and its mouth kind of opens a little bit, and the food just falls and hits the ground.
I hold up a finger, like a hold on sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I tie the rope to the base of the tower, and then toss the rope down, and then turn to him and smile real big.
I'm gonna assume that means the all clear is good, so I'm gonna go up ahead after him.
All right, so...
And then I want to go and sit next to them and see if they're okay with it. I'm going to hand one of them a
You're hit by
wineskin.
5 guys at once.
Oh,
So the
deception
lizard
check.
folk, the lizard folk that see you, they see you do this, and they're still kind of stunned at what's going on, and they just see this human just tie this rope and just toss it over the side. Theon, you and Hosk, your heads snap upwards as you hear a lizardfolk voice call, "Intruders!" And it says it loud. It says it loud enough for you to hear.
Oh, fuck. Am I at the base of the cliff?
Everyone right now, I'm assuming, is at the base of the cliff, because I imagine you were trying to stay out of the light source.
I'm halfway up.
And yes, you are halfway up, so we're going to need everyone to roll initiative.
I was trying to be friendly. Why am I rolling initiative?
there isn't something I can quickly do before that?
What do you want to do?
I wanted to Misty step up to the top of the cliff.
Oh, yeah, you certainly could have Misty stepped up there.
Okay, I'm going to Misty step up to the top of the cliff.
Okay, so
I
mark
heard
off
the
your casting of
intruders.
Misty Step, and you heard... So these lizard folk that are kind of stunned at the sudden appearance of this large human, Morris, are even more stunned at the appearance in a silvery mist of a half-elf in these very nice, pristine robes that just pretty much begins to just poof into appearance on the other side of the watchtower. All right, we got 15 and 19.
We can't try to reason with them?
You don't speak their language, so you're going to have
Can
to
I
come
hold
up with
out-
a way to reason with them.
Can I hold out a wineskin? Smiling? Wineskin of the strongest. I think I still have a full wineskin, right?
I think you do.
Alright. I'll hold out the wineskin to him. Hold it forward like a gift.
Okay, make a persuasion check with disadvantage.
I also want to say
double
something.
disadvantage then?
There is no double disadvantage, there's just disadvantage.
Oh, this is gonna be real bad. Oh my god!
Oh my
Oh
god!
Wow! Wow!
Oh my god.
It was fated by the gods.
Holy
Fated by the gods. RN Jesus himself has come down and touched your dice.
Oh my god.
Alright, sorry, I'm just opening up some windows here. We got this one. By the gods themselves. Man, oh man. Okay.
I don't like where this is going, HPG.
I know. I totally wanted to try one more thing, but I'm gonna wait until my turn to do it.
The best is I have a -1.
I know. So do we roll initiative too?
I thought everybody did already.
I don't think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure most people did.
Oh, I
If
didn't.
you have not
Okay.
rolled initiative, please roll initiative.
Oh, yeah. Wait. Oh, I have attempted to roll. Okay. Click my guy. Initiative.
Okay, Hono,
I
Soren,
am
Morris,
fast.
Husk, and Theon are all on there. The lizard men are all on there. Okay.
Hmm.
This is why I try to get in as many things I can before the battle starts.
Okay, so Morris, deciding,
Mhm.
you know, he's not going to display aggressive tendencies, takes out this wineskin and offers it to the biggest lizard folk that he can see. And the lizard folk is just confused at the fact that there's not aggressive response. He's not really dealt with a lot of traders before. Let's see what he does.
Do I know that Theon's right behind me?
You do not. You are focused on the lizard folk and trying to present him with this peace offering. And the lizard folk, it reaches out and it takes the wineskin and it pops the top and then sniffs it and kind of pulls back at the strength of the alcohol. You see him cork it, put it away, and then take out his club and his shield as the rest of them pull out their spears. And we're going to take it from there. At the top of the initiative order is Husk. Now, Husk, seeing that the rope is currently in use, actually, I'll say, Honos, you're able to make it to the top of this while this whole exchange went on. So you're able to climb up that rope, and Husk is going to begin climbing the rope as well. He essentially makes it to the top of the rope with his movement and hauls himself up with his action. So he is up on top of the cliff.
It's a shame I don't speak Draconic. I could have easily convinced these guys We're
I don't
friendly.
think anybody speaks the language that I speak.
Hono,
certainly
sadly,
true.
you do not speak the language of this
Uh,
tribe.
For the sake of role playing, did I see Mo offer him the wineskin?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
So what you've seen when you appeared up here, you saw all these lizard folk stunned by the surprise of the appearance of this human, and Morris take out a wineskin, which was then received by the largest lizard folk, and they've taken out their weapons. They haven't attacked yet, but they've taken out their weapons. And Hosk is able to reach the top of the rope, and he's got kind of like deer in the headlights. He's just kind of not really sure what to do. A fight hasn't broken out, so he hasn't attacked anybody yet. Morris, it's actually your turn now.
Oh, for my turn, if I asked Drek to say something, could he say it during my turn before the lizardman can go?
I mean, I thought you didn't see me though.
Yeah, you don't actually know
No.
he's there. So
Well, I was
I'm gonna say that
walk
no,
to-
he can't do that.
Okay. Then I'm just gonna oh boy.
I wish I really could say something because I had something really well planned.
You could just
I
back
wanna-
up.
Fucking.
So
one
they
for
pulled out their
initiative.
clubs and stuff.
Yeah, they haven't attacked you. They're just armed, and they're staring at you, really not sure of what to make of what's just happened.
Then I'm gonna. They were sitting down before.
Yes, they appear to be resting.
I'm gonna sit down, smile, and pull out food, and start eating it.
All right, so your turn consists of sitting down, taking out some food, and eating.
Yes.
All right, for all intents and purposes, you are considered prone.
Well, I'm sitting down, so yeah. It's not prone; it's just sitting. But yes,
It would still take you movement to get up.
Yes. Okay, that's fine.
Wait, what did we decide was the prone symbol again? The prone symbol was
the-
hurt my back?
The back, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. All right, so Morris has currently hurt his back.
Oh, my back.
My back.
Draconic, you see the shaman step forward, and he says to his allies, you hear him communicate.
These are the ones we were warned of. They come to slay us. Why do we not kill them?
I can't say anything back, can I?
Not yet.
Damn it.
So Morris, you just hear this aggressive, harsh language come out of this creature as it points to you.
Can I smile?
Sure.
Yeah. Smile
All right,
as
Sorwin,
I
you're-
continue eating.
Oh man. Hey.
You guys still have to climb up though, so
I guess I start climbing up the ladder
Rope.
or the rope.
make a dexterity
man.
check.
Actually, he does have to make an athletics check. I should have made Honos do that too.
Okay, that's fine. I attempt to climb up the ladder
Rope.
or the rope ladder,
I'll say
Oh,
this
this
is with
looks good.
advantage because
and
he's
I
got the.
similarly, yeah.
All right, so you are able to successfully, using all your movement, and let's see, it's difficult terrain, so it would have been 30 to reach that. So it would have taken your action to get to the top of the rope.
Okay, I now look upon.
You look upon this arrayed scene of, it's essentially like it's a standoff. No aggressive action has happened, but these two groups are pretty much at odds with one another.
Minus me that's eating with them.
And Morris is sitting down and he's currently eating.
God. Let me. Okay.
The lizard folk, as more and more people come up
not-
this rope, they seem to be becoming increasingly nervous.
I. I use my Druidcraft and I make a flower and I go put the flower next to Big Mo, and between Big Mo and the lizard in front of us.
All right,
Um,
make a persuasion check with disadvantage.
I guess I also have Charm Person.
Are you going to
No,
cast Charm Person?
No, I don't wanna-
your
I
action's
don't
been
want to
used,
make
your
any.
action's been
I don't
used.
want to make any What am I doing? Persuasion check. I don't wanna
Just so you know, this has happened in the past in Joe's campaign, and it did not work out well at
Oh.
all.
I didn't. I
At
don't know what I
all.
just did.
You did it by twice by mistake.
Oh no, I did performance and then.
Oh,
persuasion.
yes. Wow, and you rolled a 20 on the first one each time. It was with disadvantage
The
though.
same rolls.
Yeah, look at that, same roll.
Fuck?
So you put the flower down, and it seems to have no impact on the lizard folk. The one that's nearest to him, you hear like a as he like leans in to sniff the flower with a as he pulls his head back.
They are quite receptive to our gifts, though. I will say that. They all like checking what we gave them first.
The next few moments pass with all of the soldiers discussing amongst themselves, and Theon, you're the only one who can actually discern any of this. And essentially, you hear them talking amongst themselves. You hear, these are the ones that come to kill us. You hear, they're a threat. You hear, can they kill Otum? You hear, why have they come? You hear from the shaman at the back. He once again points, this time to Hask. And he says, look, the last one. We can bring him to Otum, and it will bring us honor. Let's see, they need insight checks. And it is now your turn, Theon. No, sorry, it was Honos' turn. Honos, it's your turn.
Is the little structure next to me climbable?
Oh, it is certainly climbable.
A ladder?
It's not a ladder. They're essentially they are logs that are kind of cut into a crisscross pattern. So they're kind of like a square frame with, or I should say, there's several square frames that are lashed to 4 upright poles, and there is a small platform about 6 feet or so from the earth that the watchtower is set in. Easy enough to climb, doesn't take any checks. And as you climb up and you poke your head in, you know what? Let me make a perception check on this guy's part.
Last thing HPG expected tonight.
Honestly, this to me is way more entertaining than a combat.
It's
You guys
gonna
want to try
get
and
worse.
negotiate your way past.
It's gonna get worse.
This reminds
so-
me of when we managed to convince the whole army to leave the fort.
So Honos, as you climb up, you pull yourself up, and you pull up, and there's a lizard folk staring you in the face. And it's like there's like a couple of inches between your nose and this thing's snout, and it's just looking at you. See its tongue kind of flick forward and flick back in. It almost grazes your face as it does this. Oh, I suppose I should make that guy visible.
I'm gonna take my head out of the watchtower and just wait. I'm gonna hold my action if anybody attacks.
What action are you holding?
I'm gonna throw a dagger at whoever attacks.
All right, so you're going to attack whoever attacks. Okay. All right, your action is held. Theon, it's your turn. A fight has not broken out
I
yet.
immediately say, thank you for not, starting any fight. We have brought you here, Hosk, who we've been told is a possible threat to you and to us.
Oh, no.
We have come
no.
for you to bring him to Otum.
Oh no.
Make a persuasion check.
Not a deception?
No, actually, yeah, I guess it is deception, isn't it?
Oh.
I'm assuming you're lying. You're planning
mean,
on
yes,
turning
yes.
Hosk in.
I'm not planning on turning Hosk in.
Okay, then yes, it's deception. Who are you saying this to?
The leader, the guy in the red leathers.
The guy in the red leathers? Okay.
Yes, the guy that stated that he wanted that he saw Hosk and he said they would bring him great honor.
That's the
that was the shaman that said that.
Oh, the shaman?
Yes.
Well, I speak in Draconic, so everybody hears me. So
Okay, but you said it to the shaman.
I gesture to the leader first, and then I look back at the shaman after. And
Isn't
I
the
say,
shaman the leader?
No, the leader's the guy in the red leathers. The shaman's in the back.
I thought the shaman was the leader.
Neither of you actually really know the inner workings of the societal structure of the lizard folk, so
you
say it to
said the guy in robes that we have come to assume as the shamans in the tribe.
Yes, and he was the one who made that comment about Hosk being the last one and bringing him would bring them great honor.
Yes.
So you say it to him?
Yes.
Okay. The lizard folk, the shaman kind of like walks up and looks you up and down and looks at Hosk and says to him,
Do I see Hosk at all?
Yes, you when you saw him point, you kind of followed his finger and you saw Hosk up here.
Okay. While I'm saying that, I looked over and winked at him with my left eye so they could not see it.
Okay. Hosk did not see the wink either.
Yeah, I don't think he would understand the wink anyway.
That's a
Being a
really
lizard
good
man.
assumption, being a
Yeah.
lizard folk. So he looks up and down and he exhales.
This one, an elf, full of lies. Kill them all.
All right, and that is the start of combat. It is Hosk's turn. Hosk is going to climb the watchtower. Let's say that takes it's less than 10 feet tall, so I'm going to take that. It says it takes about 15 feet of movement or 20 feet of movement for the climb. And he is going to, he's going to grapple. No, you know what? He is going to go after the guy that told him that they should turn him in. So he's going to leap off of there. With a pretty decent roll. He's going to leap. Oh, nope. That's part of the watchtower. Don't take that off. Okay. So he leaps clear over the big lizard folk in the red leathers and actually pins this shaman to the ground with his body. And you see him rear a fist back and just punch him square in the head. Oh yeah, that hits. Let's see, 1d6. Dealing 11 damage to this creature. All right, who is currently knocked prone as well. And he hurt his back. Okay. So Hosk has pinned down to the ground this lizard that talked about betraying him and essentially turning him in. And in his rage, he leapt off of this tower, letting out this kind of hiss or roar or something in between. Pinned him down and just socked him really hard in the face. Morris, it is your turn. You are currently seated, just having seen some exchange of language, and Hosk look bewildered at Theon, and then climb this watchtower and leap off, pinning one of them to the ground and hitting him.
What can I not do when prone?
You can do just about anything in prone. It's just you'll have a lot of disadvantages on stuff.
Oh. And it takes an action to stand up?
No, it doesn't. It takes half your movement to stand up.
Half my
And well,
movement?
given that you're seated, I'm going to say it takes like 10 feet of movement.
Oh, that's fine. Can I? Does it look like there's a place I can stick my great axe? Like on the shaman's neck?
You mean like to threaten him?
Yes.
I mean, certainly, yeah. If there's
Okay,
there's
like,
plenty of neck there that if you wanted to threaten him, you could.
I didn't know if like Husk's arms were in the way or.
No, Hosk he kind of like knocked him to the ground, so he's got like one arm. He's kind of pinning him to the ground with his forearm, like he's leaning onto his forearm, holding against his chest, and his free arm punched him in the head and came back up for another strike next round.
Okay, I'm gonna stand up.
Okay,
Right.
using 10 feet of movement.
All right, walk over to the shaman, which I think is like 12 feet of movement. I don't know.
I mean, we're gonna say that you treat the other people as difficult terrain.
Okay.
Also,
But I can
they're
make it
gonna
to the
get
shaman.
opportunity attacks on you.
Are they gonna attack me?
Well, you know what? Let's see.
Okay.
Don't forget
But
to
my-
remove your little prone icon.
But my intent is to hold my axe over the shaman's neck and say, "We can easily kill all of you. We're trying to be friendly."
Okay. All right. So we'll say that
I'll say it in common.
as
but
you
I don't
walk
know.
forward towards the lizard folk, not intent on attacking him, he kind of looks at you and then just kind of sidesteps out of the way as you walk right by him. And all the remaining soldiers are just kind of staring and watching at this whole situation. Honos, even the one that you're face to face with, you see him, his attention turns and he looks over to where this the scenario is unfolding. And so you place your axe against him and you say that in common.
Yeah, because
Okay.
all I know is common and elvish, and I think common has a better chance of being understood.
You know what? Make an intimidation check anyway.
Well,
I'm gonna say. Well, I mean, the advantage would have canceled out with the disadvantage.
Well, shit. Anyway.
Well, so unfortunately, threats in another language generally not taken too seriously. So is that going to be the end of your turn?
Yeah, not attacking, just threatening.
Okay. The shaman is going to attempt to break free. He doesn't do that. You see him struggle and writhe, but Hosk is clearly just physically more powerful, also has a superior position on him. And you hear him call out to everyone,
What are you waiting for? Kill them!
Sorwin, you're up.
I don't know, man. This is crazy. See. It's 20 feet. Okay, I want to cast Entangle on everybody.
Okay, where are you casting it?
I can just cast it in front of me, so I'm like, yeah, just right in front. I want to just grab everybody in front of me. I guess there's just one guy to my right though. I want to move.
There's one in the tower, yes.
Oh, he's in the tower. Okay.
Yeah, he's in the tower.
Are you just like casting it like where I'm standing?
Oh, Honos is actually up on the tower.
Yeah, you guys are fine. It's only 1 minute long, anyways.
That's like 10 turns.
Really?
It's 1 minute.
Yeah, a round of combat is 6 seconds. So anything that lasts a minute lasts for 10 turns. 10 rounds, I should say. Okay,
Cool,
so you
man,
get
no
all of
hard
them. So
feelings.
all of them need to make strength saving throws.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Do I need to do the same? Or...
yeah, you do. So you need to make a strength saving throw.
Okay. I don't know if that passes. I don't know.
Okay,
what
what's your
save
spell
DC
DC,
is.
Sorwin?
Oh,
Up at the top of your spells.
oh,
should
I see save DC.
For Druid. fourth column.
And it's under the spells one?
Yeah, should
Yeah,
be save
spells
DC.
at the top. You see save DC, and then you go to the right until you see Druid.
Oh, okay. 13. No, that's save DC.
Okay, so Sorwin, you climb to the top and you see this scenario unfolding. You're not sure what's happening, and you decide that you're going to keep anyone from moving, and so you reach out and you cast this spell, and from the nearby trees and plant growth and from the earth itself burst thick vines and roots that just cover this entire area, starting from here and radiating outwards to a distance of... Actually, I guess you would have to do it from here to get all of them.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah, okay,
your,
so...
What's your wisdom game?
We're...
Because 13 sounds low.
It should
wisdom
be 8.
is
8
plus proficiency plus his wisdom modifier.
3.
He
is my
smokes a lot of
wisdom.
weed. His
Yeah.
wisdom's probably not super high.
So 8 plus 3 plus 3, because his proficiency is 3 now that he's level 5. So 8 plus 6, which is 14.
Cool. I don't know I don't understand where it says that.
And where do we calculate our proficiency bonus? How do we know when that goes
That
up?
is a function of your level,
You
and
just
it's
have to
calculated
level-
automatically.
Yeah, you have to actually level up for it to change. So you have to change your level.
Okay,
for
there it
to-
is.
Oh,
So that's probably why it was 13.
yeah.
Does
All right,
roll
so-
equal with the save DC count as passing.
If they roll a save equal to the DC, then yes, they survive.
Okay.
All right, so Sorwin, as you reach out and cast this, you see all these vines and plants burst forward, and they attempt to wrap around the legs and even eventually like arms and torsos of everyone involved. You manage to capture everyone with the exception of the large lizard folk, the one who is kind of wearing red leathers. And he sees all this happening, and he manages to just pull and thrash and fight his way free of these vines. However, everyone else is considered grappled.
Oh, I also want to yell for everyone to throw down their weapons. See if it
In
works.
common?
No, I tell Drac to tell them to throw down their weapons,
Gotcha.
please, and thank you.
All right, I don't have a symbol for grappled, so I'm going to take this net.
That's a good one.
Who's the
Wait, I
big
didn't
guy?
see
in the middle?
what-
What's the big red guy? In there?
14.
Is it just like a big
Okay,
guy?
so no, Morris,
Big guy in red
you
armor.
made this. You made the save. You are not restrained or grappled.
Cool.
But he's got a net, and this guy is prone and grappled, so he's just fucked. Okay, the soldiers are then going to make an attempt to break free of the restraints. So they each have to make a strength check. Is it a strength check or a strength saving throw to try and break free?
They
Strength
didn't.
check.
They didn't try to throw in their weapons.
A strength
They
check.
were
It
like,
says,
no.
it says,
Strength check.
it says
Yeah, strength
check in the spell.
Okay, so
They passed on the weapon throwdown.
they don't understand you.
Well, I asked Drac to yell it. Oh yeah, but it's like
It's not
his
Drac's
turn.
turn.
It's not my
Oh,
turn.
okay, cool. I get it.
Okay, so the one closer to you is able to break free. And actually, the two closest to you are able to break free.
But luckily, that is their turn.
But that counts as their action and their movement. They are, you know what? They're not going to move. Actually, you know what? Again, let's make some of these.
We're gonna piece our way out of this, man.
Okay, they don't move. They still have their
This was
weapons at the ready. They're just
rubbish
looking
in
around,
play.
trying to, seemingly not yet resolved on what what they want to do. They have turned to face you now, though, Sorwin.
That's all right. I got a bear form waiting for him. Bite him in the crotch.
So have we even thought about what we're gonna do with these guys if we?
Hold on,
Sure,
you're
we're
up.
gonna grab the rope and we're gonna tie him up.
I'm gonna wait patiently for someone to throw my dagger out again. And that's it.
Are you still hanging on the side of the watchtower?
I
So
believe
Honos
yeah.
still clinging to the side of the watchtower, looking around at the various targets that he could, and he could easily hit a number of these people. Deciding he's going to wait and see how the scenario unfolds. So are you holding an action again?
Yep.
All right, Theon, you're up.
I still can't believe all we have is Drax's character to communicate with them.
Hey, I have good charisma. Come on, man.
You just tried to lie to them.
Lie to them
Lying is
and
good
sell his
charisma.
friend out.
Hey, I don't know if he's my friend. You told me Arari said he was bad news, or just
You can
not
you can
good.
discern whatever conclusions you like.
And that's exactly what I did.
All right then.
But I'm going to say, please put your weapons down. Let's resolve this peacefully. There's no need for bloodshed. And I kind of gesture over to Mo with the axe and say, we will not strike first. And I
Well,
hold.
besides Hosk.
Yeah, besides Hosk.
Yeah, besides Hosk, who's only pinning him.
And
Sorry
punching
about
him in the
Hosk.
face.
Yeah.
And I also let Hosk know, please, let's resolve this without bloodshed.
The
then-
I won't
large
shed
Turn.
blood if I punch him to death.
make a persuasion check.
Come on, Drac. Do it.
Persuasion's pretty good. What the fuck,
But
man?
your rolls aren't.
Yeah, I got a 5 plus 8, man. Still pretty good.
That's all right. Yeah.
So the large lizard folk in the red leathers, he hears what you have to say, and he looks at the shaman who is basically ordering him, and he sees Hosk, and he takes a very long look at Hosk. You see him reach over and kind of peel some of the roots off of Hosk, and he examines one of the symbols that's essentially tattooed onto his shoulder. And it is the tattoo for, well, and you recognize this, Theon, because you recognize Draconic, and you see that it is a symbol associated with force of will. And you see this large lizard folk in these red letters. He looks at him, looks really hard, and then looks to you and says in this guttural language,
Why have you come here, if not to fight?
I have to wait till my turn to respond, right?
I'll let you respond.
Please don't let me respond. We have come to gather ingredients, mushrooms, and I let him know, the mushrooms that we are looking for. And this lizard here said that there was mushrooms in this area.
He just kind of like snorts loudly.
So you've come for mushrooms?
Yes.
Why is he the only one that knows how to speak their language?
There'll be
Can I
some-
do like a 5-second crash course of the language? Please.
So, okay, make a deception check because you're now lying.
Yeah!
What did you roll? I can't
At
see.
20.
Oh my god.
You know what? But I'm gonna say that was with disadvantage, so I'm taking that 9. And you then hear this guy with the red leathers on, this lizard folk with the red leathers. And he turns to his troops.
The elves, they know only lies.
And all of them get ready for combat at this point. All right, it is Hosk's turn. He is going to attempt to break free of the vines.
I would really like to know what you guys would have said there.
He does not. He is still restrained. His attacks have disadvantage.
The best way to lie is to tell the truth.
We're coming to kill O'Toole?
Well, you gotta skirt around it, Jesus.
I mean, that would have been something you could have said.
I
All right,
mean,
Morris, you're up.
Yeah, but they were already mentioning about O'Toole, and then they worked for him, so I'm kind of good with that too.
Does rage give me advantage on strength checks?
I mean, something along the lines of
I think so.
Return to his people. We've come here to help him.
Can I tell that the conversations between Theon and the red guy don't seem to be going well?
Negotiations have deteriorated.
Can I tell that?
You can tell that from the fact that they all ready their weapons and appear to be ready to engage in combat.
And that I
Okay.
shrugged my shoulders.
So I'm gonna be pissed off. I'll control my rage. But I'm gonna sheath my great axe, right? And I'm gonna walk back towards the tower. Can I do this? Is this something I can do? I want to do this peacefully.
It's going to cost extra movement. What are you trying to do?
I'm wanting to force the big lizard man to sit down with Theon right in front of him, sitting down, so we can discuss with
So we can have
Theon
If-
translating.
If you're going to try and force somebody to sit down, that's going to be a grapple. So you're going to have to like grapple him and then take him down to the ground.
That's fine. Whatever I have to do, and then I'm gonna tell Theon to sit in front of him while I do it.
Okay,
do
make an attack roll.
What type of attack?
It's just a regular strength attack for you.
How do I do that? Just like my fists? That works?
Yeah, your fist would
Strength
count.
ability check, or
Yeah, I guess a strength ability check would be the same thing. It's technically an attack roll though, because things that affect attack rolls would play into here.
Too bad I didn't do it recklessly.
It's enough. So you reach forward and you're able to grapple this large lizard folk that just kind of roars underneath the frustration as his arms are pinned to his side and he can't really move.
Right. Is he sitting down? I want him to be sitting
no,
down.
you're just holding him right now. You're giving him a bear hug from behind.
Oh. Well, my goal is to make him sit down with
All right,
Drac
well, then
right in front of
you
him.
Pretty much, you would have to like go to the ground and bring him with you, and it wouldn't be so much sitting as like the two of you are lying.
spooning
Just kick his
next
knees out.
to each other.
Actually, you know what? No,
Fine.
you know what? Let's say, okay, make a strength check. Let's see it. Let's see what happens.
Do I get disadvantage on this? I don't know if I get disadvantage on strength checks. Do I? With my
that is,
exhaustion?
With your exhaustion,
Because it's
it's still an ability check. Yeah.
Hey, I spent all my days in a damn school.
So you try and force this creature down off of its feet, and as you're leaning your body weight into it and pulling down, its strength is resilient against you, and it's just pushing back.
Right, but I told Theon to sit down.
You tell
Right.
Theon to sit down.
All right, then I'll end my turn.
All right.
I want to end this peacefully, and Theon's not helping.
Okay, the shaman is again going to try
I
and break
can't
free.
Wait to see what you tell me.
Nope. The shaman is still restrained. You can hear. You hear him call out, Theon. Again, you're the only one that that understands this. And you hear him say,
He cannot help you. They cannot save you. Otun rules now.
Wait, he said that to who?
he said that to everyone, all the lizard folk around. Sorwin, you're up.
Alright, I got this. Hold on, I need to read this. I want to charm the guy that just spoke.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to charm that guy.
Okay, so he makes a wisdom saving throw with advantage.
My friend. Yes.
So Sorwin, you mutter the incantation. Now, hang on, before you make this happen, is Charm Person a concentration spell? And is Entangle a concentration spell? Because you cannot do both of these.
Entangle is a concentration. Charm is
Looks
doesn't
like
say anything.
enchantment.
No, Charm Person is not concentration.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So you
Yeah, it's what's in range.
you mutter
too.
the incantation and you open your hand and you see the expression of the lizard folk change. It's gone from this angry, like thrashing, and then it looks at you and it kind of calms down a little bit, and then you see it shake its head side to side and it goes back to this angry kind of resisting, trying to break free from your vines. And it knows the spell and it knows it came from you, so it does not like you right now.
All right. That's fine. We tried. We tried to not kill these guys. I don't do anything now. I wait. I wait. I wait until they die. I sulk because I could have made another friend. I didn't.
The lizard folk soldiers, this one is going to make another attempt to break free. Oh, natural 20, he does. Theon, you hear this lizard folk say out loud,
So we fight them.
and he was almost asking. It's like a more of a question than it is a certainty in his mind. Actually, no, you know what? That's dumb. You just got grappled, his friend. You know what? He's going to attack. This is a fight now. All right, and he is going to... Okay, you use your held action.
Yeah.
All right, throw your make your attack roll. You throw your knife.
That's awesome.
Is he next to within melee range of Big Bow?
Yes.
Okay.
By the way, that tattoo or marking on Hosk's shoulder, force of will.
Yes.
Do I understand what that means, or do I just see that it says force of will?
You understand that the idea associated with the symbol is someone that determination is part of their character. Like the idea behind this is force of will is not just something that is something that this person possesses, but it's something that defines them. Like if you were to meet a person that you would say like that person's very driven, it's kind of the same idea behind this. And Draconic is like that in terms of its kind of symbolism. And there are other symbols that you see that are adorned and kind of tattooed across Hosk, and you've got the chance to see a lot of these. And like you've seen the Draconic symbol for protector, you've seen clan, you've seen guardian, you've seen home, you've seen strength of will, you've seen might, you've seen focus. But there are two very ornate ones that are tattooed onto his chest, like his left and right pec, and across his back. They are the largest symbols that are on his body. And you don't recognize these. They are more ornate and a little bit more artistic, but they are done in the same style of the Draconic language.
Okay.
All right, and the dagger hits, dealing 6 and then 7, so that is 13 damage. All right, so this lizard man, I'm assuming you're attacking this one.
Whichever one was about to attack.
Okay, that was that one. So Honos, you sink. Are you throwing the lucky dagger?
No.
Okay. All right, so the dagger sinks into this creature, and it recoils, and it looks up at you, and it runs forward, and it actually is going to try and... So it runs forward, and it grapples the watchtower itself, and is trying to actually lift the watchtower up from his side. And he
Did I get an
pulls-
opportunity attack to trip him?
You are currently grappling someone. You do not have... Wait, to trip him? No, you know what? I'm gonna say it's taking all your strength right now to like try and force this large lizard folk to his knees. So you are
Okay.
not able to trip this the other lizard folk. He pulls and he's able to get some lift, and you feel, Honos, you feel that the watchtower shake a little bit, but he's not strong enough to flip it by himself. This other lizard folk, seeing what his friend is up to, is gonna come here. And he's gonna make a check.
Isn't one of their
Nope.
friends in the watchtower?
Yep.
Yes.
Sacrifice, man.
The two of them are pulling, and they're trying to uproot this thing, but even together, they're not able to muster enough force to lift the watchtower. You feel it lurch quite a bit, though, and you're concerned, Honos, that they might succeed on their next attempt. Okay, the brawler is going to, or the large lizard folk that's restrained is going to try and escape. That is a 16. Steve, I need you to roll an athletics check. Are you raging yet? I don't know.
No.
Okay.
I'm angry.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
all
He's
right.
gonna
So
break
the large lizard folk in the red leathers, he just flexes and breaks the force of your arms that are holding him to his side.
He broke my arms?
No. He
Oh,
broke
okay.
the grasp that your arms had on each other. Like you
Okay.
reached around and you had your arms kind of clasped together around his form, pinning his arms to his side. But he was able
Okay.
to force your arms apart. Now that's his turn, but he turns around and he looks at you and just lets out this big snort.
I smile.
All right, Honos, you're up.
I drop down, walk up to the guy next to me, and stab him twice.
All right, make your 2 attacks.
Oops, that second one's supposed to be this one.
Okay, so you're going to take an opportunity attack from the guy that's in the watchtower.
No, I was never in. I went up there to look at him, and we got face to face, and then I dropped down out of.
You said you dropped down
Face-to-face.
just now. You
No,
said you
before
climbed to the
that.
watchtower and you were face to face.
Yeah, and then I said I back up
He
from
he
him.
said after his like tongue like lashed kind of out near him, he ducked back under again.
Oh, okay, all right. So then you don't take the he rolled a 1 anyway, so it didn't matter.
Okay.
All right, so you jumped and you just fucking stabbed, and you shanked this fool real hard.
Not very hard. Double ones.
6
I did the
damage,
lucky
Joe.
dagger and the dagger off.
Oh, you did the lucky dagger. Okay, I see. But you do get sneak attack, don't you?
Yep.
Okay, so you bury the dagger in, you hit an organ, you hit something vital, and the lizard folk just kind of twitches for a moment and then looks at you with this wide-eyed kind of shock and a bit of fear, and then just goes limp. As the hand withdraws, there's just a torrent of blood starts pouring out of this
Was that the first
creature.
attack?
No, that was the collect. Oh, hang on, let me see this.
Is he dead?
Yes, that was the first attack.
I'm gonna walk over to the other guy and stab him with my second attack.
That's with the offhand?
Yep.
Okay.
Poke you in the side. Poke.
Are they both dead?
No, the first one is. That one's dead.
Sorry, guys.
Okay, Theon, you're up. You just saw Honos shank this one lizard folk that he had hit earlier.
Do
And
I
then-
see Sorwin?
You can barely
And
see
his-
Sorwin on the other side of the watchtower.
Did I see his disappointment?
Make a perception check for disappointment spotting. Nope.
My disappointment is hidden.
Well, either way, well, that's not gonna.
You have to talk to me
So
about my
I
feelings.
step out, and I'm going to stand next to that lizard folk in front of me, like right next to him.
Okay.
And I am going to say, I'm sorry for the lies. We have come here with Hosk, who is trying to earn his people back. He said Otum had corrupted the minds of his friends, and we are helping him in this journey. Could you help us?
Make a persuasion check. As you finish saying this, and like as the words start to come forth, the lizard folk, which up until now had like started to go into kind of the frenzy of battle, and you start saying these things, and as you're saying them, the fact that like he's hearing these names and these words being thrown at him by a creature he's considered to be his enemy his entire life, you just see confusion and mistrust. And he hasn't attacked. In fact, a strange silence kind of hits all the lizard folk. Like the large
I
red
wasn't
one.
talking to the one right next to me. I was kind of doing that to show like trust.
You were talking to everybody, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so the lizard folk that hear you say this, they all hear it, and they all seem to react, and they all react the same way, which is they kind of stop and they look very slowly and confusedly at you, and they're giving you this glance of they're not sure whether or not they believe you. Let's
Can I
Yeah,
also
they-
tell them to ask Hosk as well?
Well, we'll say that your turn, your appeal was what you said.
Okay.
All right, so it is Hosk's turn. And Hosk, he continues to struggle against this entangle spell, and he is able to break free this time. And he manages to wrestle himself free and stand up, and he looks down at the shaman and just rests his foot on top of his chest. And you hear him say to the group around you,
We cannot do this. If we fight the elves, we invite our own destruction. Otum must die. He turns us against one another. Look at this. Look at this.
and he pulls, like he points to the symbol on his arm for clan, and again, you recognize this there. And he continues,
We are one tribe. One does not sit above all, and Otum thinks himself better than all.
Morris, it's your turn. What are you gonna do, Honus?
Nothing. I was gonna say if combat was stopping, I'm gonna quietly nudge the dead body away so he's not visible. kind of first negotiations.
I was hoping he wasn't dead and just unconscious. So like.
Oh no, he's
Sorwin
totally dead.
Can heal him. Although that could apply to the extra persuasion.
So he's completely dead?
Oh yeah.
Like nothing can bring him back?
The
I
resurrect.
mean, yeah, any spell that brings back the dead.
I eviscerated him.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll explain we're sorry about John. You know, tell him it's been a rough day. You know.
Did I notice like did the other lizard folk like relax? You said kind of.
Like even the
Dude.
one that turned to face you with that aggressive intent, it heard what Theon said and it stopped, and you saw its face change, and it went from like anger and to more of like a confusion is the only thing that you could really put it on, and then he turned and looked at Theon, and then kind of turned and looked back at you, and he doesn't seem to have the same aggressive stance as he did before.
I'm gonna stand there smiling with my arms crossed, and that's my turn.
All right, you gonna hold an action or anything, or you're just gonna? That's all you do.
Nope. That's all I do. All I do.
Okay.
Okay.
The shaman finally breaks free of the entangle. Fuck me. So it takes his action. He uses half his movement to get up. And he kind of reading the mood and seeing that like even with all his words, he hasn't gotten anyone to fight. And he can't seem to make these soldiers of his attack anyone. He is actually going to start backpedaling.
Like backing away from the fight, or
Yes.
Gonna try to run away.
Okay, so he can get about this far. And as he is, his back doesn't hurt anymore. All right, so as he is backing away, you hear him call out, and again, Theon, you're the only one that understands this.
O'Toole will know of your betrayal. You will all be food for the ancestor serpents.
As he starts backing away. Sorwin, you're up.
I want to heal the one that is still alive. 'Cause I can't catch this guy.
The only one that took damage was the one that was this one
The one
here.
that's dead.
the one that I'm
No.
Oh,
The
yeah.
other one that took damage died from that damage.
Yeah, but there's one that took like a little
He
hit.
took 1 hit point of damage. He's fine.
Took 1 point.
Yeah.
Okay, then I just want to like walk over to him and like kiss his boo-boo, like just like give it a
When
little
you
kiss.
get in range of the running guy, I would assume.
I don't. Can I?
Certainly you can. You got your movement. You
Well,
can't-
isn't this
that's more than
difficult
30
terrain?
feet.
It's
movement
difficult
and
terrain
action.
as well.
You can sprint.
Well,
Oh,
and you
I-
have spells that presumably have range.
Yes.
Yeah, but my
It's
spells aren't like good like attacking spells from this range.
well, okay, you could use about 10 feet of your movement to get there, and then you're gonna enter the difficult terrain. Oh, he's in difficult terrain. He can't get very far at all. He can only move he can only move to there. Oh, I forgot about
And
that.
doesn't
Okay,
Hosk
so
get an opportunity attack?
oh yeah, you're right. Haas does get an
Is
opportunity
he
attack.
is he even going to attack?
Or if he will attack or not.
I'd be surprised if he attacks.
I mean, he already said that like that guy had no chance of wanting to help.
No witnesses.
Didn't he say that like as he was walking away though? Out of
Well, me
opportunity?
and Hosk understood him. You guys didn't, but I mean, He said that before or while he was. It doesn't matter. He still can't get that far away.
So Hosk actually does attempt to sweep with his tail to see if he can actually trip this guy, but the shaman actually just jumps over it and manages to start making his escape. So Sorwin, you can move. You'd be able to get 10 feet towards the rough terrain and then 10 feet into the rough terrain, so about there. And then you could hit him with spells. You can also dispel your entangle, so there is no more rough terrain.
So yeah, if I dispelled it, then I can almost reach him. Then.
You could reach him. I would say you could reach him with your 30 feet of movement.
Is there a way to just like tackle him, like
Grapple.
not?
Yeah,
you
you would make a melee attack roll.
Okay, I'll try to catch him because I can't really do much to him. I guess I
Okay.
can bite him with my bear.
Catching an Ekans.
I'll see if I can grab him.
It's snake backwards.
Okay,
Oh,
so I'll say so you're gonna have to dispel your
Okay.
entangle. So make an attack roll. So to do this, you're gonna have to roll a d20, and I think you're gonna add your strength modifier, and you are not proficient. So yeah, make a strength check, I believe.
What are you doing to him?
He's
I'm gonna try to grab
grapple.
him. Grapple. Strength. Strength. Yeah.
You successfully grab the fleeing lizard folk.
Oh, cool.
Oh wow.
So Sorwin dashes as he's dispelling the entangle. So he's doing it as he runs full tilt into the spell, and you can see that as his feet are about to make contact, the spell effect actually peels back from the land right as he's kind of hitting it. So as he's walking through this, it's like he's almost carving a path through his own entangle as it begins to dispel, and these plants recede into the surroundings. And he runs
Pretty
forward,
badass.
dives,
Yeah, that's
and
awesome.
tackles this lizard folk, and manages to grapple him and keep him from moving. All right, so that's everything. That's your turn.
That's ironic as hell. The guy who wants peace just like fucking charged and grappled to
I just like I
He's like,
speared him.
"Ah."
Yeah. Smackdown.
I even made you a flower, man.
Yeah. I just wanted to be your friend. Why do you make me do this?
All right, so the other lizard folk soldiers, you see them. They're looking confusedly amongst themselves, and they're not really sure what they should do at this point. And the Sorwin, the nearest one to you, he walks up beside you. And he reaches up and swings his club down. And as it's coming up and over, you can see by the arc that it's not actually aimed for you. And it passes just to the side of your head and smashes onto the skull of the shaman that you're currently
Nice.
restraining. Dealing that much damage. Oh, no, that's that in total. And he rears up and brings it down again for a second strike. And again, connecting. The remaining lizard folk, so the large red one near you and the one standing next to you, Theon, they seem to kind of bring their weapons closer and take them away from a readied stance. And Honos, you see the lizard folk that's in the watchtower actually jump down and land here beside his companion. And they all just seem to look amongst each other. And they look at Hosk, and they all kind of nod. And for the time being, combat is resolved. And we're also going to call the session there.
Okay.
What were you saying?
I was gonna say, is anybody looking in my direction? I was gonna drag the body and toss it over the cliff.
That's a very nice.
Tell you what, make a stealth check with disadvantage.
Dude, they're a patrol unit.
I was only gonna do it if people were looking at me or not.
At the moment, they're looking amongst each other. No one's looking at you directly.
Shit.
Yeah, fuck you.
This is worse than fucking my peace talks. They're gonna like get pissed at us for.
We didn't see it though.
No, it would appear that Honos, as you're slowly kind of pulling this body off to the side near the cliff, nobody appears to be looking directly at you. And you kind of push it behind you and then kick it with your boot until it finally you feel the mass slide off the side and you hear and the lizard folk nearest to you turns around and looks at you. You're just kind of standing there.
I cut a slit in my jacket, in my coat, just make it look like I was defending myself, which I kind of was, but this is more visible.
Okay, so you make a slash in your own clothing.
Yep.
All right. So yes, we're gonna say that's the end of combat there. So is anybody going to do anything now that combat has ended? Honos,
now that
you
the
did that.
body's off the cliff, no.
I want to tie up the lizardman shaman. If that's okay.
Yeah.
All right, so you go up and start tying him up.
Yeah.
Theon, what are you doing?
Well, nothing now. I want to just say to Hosk, thank you for allowing this to end peacefully.
Hosk looks to you, Theon, and says,
The elves have been my people's enemy for a long time. They will not trust you. And if you lie to them, they will kill you.
We were looking for mushrooms.
Oh, good God.
he kind of brushes past you to the large lizard folk in the red leathers, and you see the two of them kind of clasp forearms and like grip. And even though this lizard folk is much larger than Hosk, he seems to kind of dip his head in a sign of respect. You see him pull this red leather off of his head, because it's kind of like a covering, almost like a hood that kind of drapes down past his snout. You see him pull this red leather hood off, and there is a normal lizard folk underneath it. Just kind of tosses the leathers off to the side. And that's where we'll end it.